Oh my God. Look at his balls. They are so big. He must be one of those gamer guys. Like, who understands them anyway?
I say, what? Balls! Who's got the balls? I got the balls. Big, big, big the balls. Who's got the balls? I got the balls. The big, big, big the balls. The balls. Who got the balls? I got the balls. The big, big, big the balls. Balls. Who got the balls? I got the balls. The big, big, big the balls. Balls. Who's got them balls? I got the balls. The big balls. Who's got them balls? I got the balls. The big balls. Balls. Big, big balls.
Well, let me just introduce you to my balls here, okay? The right one's Chuck, and the left one's Norris.
This song is all about my balls. 'Cause they big, the opposite of smalls. I see my balls be bouncing left and right. My balls be owning you tonight.
Who got the balls? I got the balls.
Big balls.
Who got the balls? I
I
got the
got the
balls.
balls. Big balls.
Who got them balls? I got them balls.
Big, big, big balls.
Who's got them balls?
I got the balls. Big, big, big the balls. Balls. Big motherfucking balls.
Let me just tell you a quick story about my balls, okay? They're big, they're round, and they're big.
Big, big balls. Balls.
My balls need some sucking. My balls need licking. My balls be swinging. My balls need some sucking. My balls need licking. My balls be swinging, swinging. Balls be swinging. My balls need legend, no imitation. My balls need two-wheel barrows for transportation.
Balls.
My balls be jive. My balls be enormous. My balls waving in the air. My balls like they just don't care. Elephants be all like, damn, them sticks balls. My balls be huge. My balls be Angus. My balls.
Balls.
What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, back once again with the banana hammock man himself to pound our voice into your ear until you have the loudest audio eargasm known to man. What's up, Hammock?
Oh, not much, Tony. How you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic. As you can see, we played the song About My Balls. It is true. The right one is Chuck,
Yes.
and the left one is Norris.
Yes. Yeah.
I see a couple people in the chat. They didn't like the song. They prefer
I saw that.
the nerd rap. We'll get back to that. I wanted to play this one today. I wanted to change it up a little. So we ready for this? I think we're like 3 hours in. We're like making good headway.
Yes, I am ready to go. Let's see what we'll do tonight.
Ooh, what we're going to do is we're going to entertain the audience, make the masses proud, and of course, bring all the sweet, sweet sounds right into your earlobes. We gotta talk like that because our female audience has increased every time we talk. Right? When we do gameplay streams, the ladies, they tune out. They don't like watching the gameplay. But when we're just sitting here talking, these sounds of our sweet, sensual voices dripping with honey, the ladies tune in. They tune in.
Well, it's certainly not from my voice, Tony, so I'll give you the credit.
Ladies love the frog. What can I say? But I got it all set up.
There he is.
Lies. I see no. You don't see them because they're not in the chat. Why do you think we have so many lurkers? We've been having 30, 40, 50 people show up, but only like 5 people talk, 45 people lurking. That's the ladies sitting back, relaxing, avoiding you nerds and listening to us. I don't make the rules. So have you watched any more of the video, or are we still going in blind?
Now I'm enjoying the fresh response here. We're watching it along with you. I'm getting a nice little. I'm enjoying the commentary you're giving too, because you're clarifying some things that it's kind of fun watching it at the same time.
Like I said, this is the director's commentary, the audio track. That extra. These are the DVD extras.
Yes, indeed.
Anthony EFX says, whoever pre-ordered the Amico, when you clicked add to cart, did the song What a Fool Believes start playing?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see where we left off.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Sam.
Oh, shit. I got to. I had it all set up except for
1.5 it.
1.5. And do I got the sound?
How's the volume? Volume looks good.
All right.
Was investigating. And what did he find? He found a backdoor to Intellivision's developer portal just by Googling, which was accidentally left open publicly and without a password for a small amount of time. But
we clarified in the last video that it wasn't Sam, so we're not going to retread old ground.
Yeah.
People to get in and archive.org to back everything up. Sam obviously revealed his findings in one of the most iconic moments in Amico's history when he shared the classified specs of the system. According to the website, these specs have been doubly confirmed by unnamed members of the team. These specs were laid out so that the devs that did not have dev kits could use them as the basis for creating games for Amico. In other words, don't make your games more powerful than these specs because the Amico isn't going to be able to handle it.
We found the ZTE ZMax Pro Z981 Snapdragon 617 Adreno 405 is a good benchmark test and runs just a little slower than the Amico hardware.
Was that Larry? Is that Larry's voice?
That's Larry. That's Guru Larry.
Friend of the channel, Guru Larry, out there lending his voice.
Yeah. He's got a unique sounding voice, for sure.
Daze is just here to keep Kermit in check. He's to keep my head from floating away. If my head gets too big, it'll float away, and then maybe Joe Biden will shoot it down. And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah. $400,000 missiles.
Yeah. Noah Jetty says it's the other slopes.
He left a comment in the chat saying that he was looking forward to watching this tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been loving our commentary. He says we've been doing a good job. He's learning a lot. I know a lot of developers have been reaching out to him, sharing information. So there might be a follow-up. There might be a DLC bonus to the Intellivision Amico scandal video. So.
Yes. Excellent. More Amico content, the better.
There we have it, the specs, or at least the equivalent specs. So what does this mean? Well, according to that article, the phone they gave as an example was a 2016 budget phone sold at $100 back in 2016 when it was a thing. Also, keep in mind that a mobile phone is a much smaller form factor and comes with all sorts of bells and whistles that are expected to come on a mobile phone. But even by 2021 standards, this was not a good look. In fact, that same article predicted that the boards inside this thing were coming in around about $38 a piece. TLDR, the Amico is going to be ever so slightly more powerful than a budget phone from 2016, but in 2022 or 2023. Who the hell knows when this thing's coming out? And before you come...
It's never coming out. Never coming out.
Yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble, Slopes, but it ain't coming out.
CC Ricer says it costs $400,000 to fire this weapon for 12 seconds. 56K says we got to use that 500,000 ammo, or end up like Russia, collecting rust and dust. Well, we don't collect rust and dust. Not to get into geopolitical and military stuff, but the United States Army. Our armed forces, the totality of the armed forces, we have procedures in place to rotate tires, to move vehicles, to make sure everything's up to snuff. That way it's always combat ready. So we won't have issues like Russia's been having in Ukraine.
We just lost our ladies watching.
Yeah. No, it's still our voice, so they're okay. They're like, yeah,
Okay.
Ukraine, that has a unique sound. Ukraine.
Running to his defense saying that, well, the Amico comes with 2 controllers, both with touchscreens. I think it's safe to say that the footage we've seen up to this point prove that they can't handle much of anything. Here's my daughter's super cheap Frozen watch as a terrible comparison. Of course, Tommy responded terribly and without thinking, causing even more articles to be written about him when he threatened legal action publicly on Twitter and then deleted the tweets and apologized, causing a huge ripple effect that can still be felt to this very day.
Legal incoming. Let me see.
Yes.
Deleted the tweet.
Not the delete.
Without thinking, causing even more articles to be written about him when he threatened.
There it is. So the infamous post, the infamous tweet was, "Way to post copywritten confidential information not for the public, as well as other info that is false." So this didn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what other info that is false? Now, he just copied what was in the dev documents. So I don't understand what Sam posted that was false. We'll make sure the folks at Ars Technica are aware. Legal incoming. Enjoy. Needless to say, Ars Technica is still waiting for legal.
Yeah.
They must have put that snail mail. It's still incoming. It's on the way. The legal will be there about a week before the Amico launches. It's just
The lawyers probably said, what are we suing for? What is false here? What are the lies? This is all truth.
There's really nothing they could sue for in any of the things. From my understanding, Tommy actually did go to lawyers and say, "Hey, I want to sue Pat and Ian. I want to sue Tony. I want to sue some other people."
Yeah.
And the lawyers took his money, put it in their pocket, and laughed in his face and said, "Yeah, that's not going to happen."
Legal action publicly on Twitter and then deleted the tweets and apologized, causing a huge ripple effect that can still be felt to this very day. A dark day in the history of Amico, and it only gets worse from here. In July, not only does Intellivision get its latest employee join the roster, but as expected, the divide between the haters and the cultists grows even further, as Rich from Review Tech USA states that he is having doubts with the system.
I've had thoughts. I went from being very skeptical to cautiously optimistic to very skeptical again. And I'm not backtracking on any of those statements. I do have grave concerns about the console. I think games like Finnegan Fox look absolutely terrible. There's a couple games that actually look pretty damn good, but the majority of what I've seen from the Intellivision Amico looks fairly subpar.
My jaw's hitting the ground, seeing how
DJC.
My jaw's hitting the ground, baby. I remember the whole "I'm having doubts" by Rich. Rich finally woke up. It was a weird thing to watch all of this play out, because these people, and I know, people make mistakes and, they're unaware of things. But there's a difference between being unaware and attacking, right? If someone goes, "Hey, you're not aware, but this is a scam," and then you hit back and you're like, "Fuck you, it's not a scam. You're a liar and a piece of shit," then I think there's an issue, right?
Right.
And a lot of these Amico shills, that's what they did, right? Instead of saying, "Hey, I will look at the information you're providing and make an assessment based on logic and reason," they went, "No, you're being mean to Tommy and you're evil."
They were his troops, man. Tommy was their general, and they were ready to march in lockstep with whatever his message was. It didn't matter. Anyone that had anything negative to say about Tommy was the enemy.
It was ridiculous.
It was quite ridiculous.
cool this game is.
Cool.
I love the music choice that's
Yeah.
Tommy Amico says, "My jaw hits the ground when her bra hits the ground." Well, to be fair, Tommy, you mess with old ladies, so that bra only got about like 3 or 4 inches to travel from the saggy tits.
Saggy melons.
White Slopes didn't talk about the E3 2021 Amico section. He did. It was just the same old. Pretty. Please extend this to a part 6. I know you can. Yeah, we're gonna do a part 6 because even if we get through the rest of the video, there's the 2022 section is so small that there's going to be like a follow up. There's going to be like, and this is the stuff that happened in 2022 that Slopes didn't include, right?
Right.
So don't worry about that.
My jaw's hitting the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, did that look like jaw-dropping gameplay to you?
Tommy then claims that he had received death threats from haters.
Tommy did not receive death threats. I saw the quote unquote threat that Tommy had received. You know what it was?
What was it?
Haha, your dad's dying, and I'm going to piss on your grave when you die. That was the quote unquote death threat.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that's crappy to say, but it's certainly not a death threat.
No, and it's certainly not anything that you're like, oh my god, I need to call the authorities over. And it was a DM that someone sent him on Reddit.
And you know how Tommy is too. Like, it's like he's got to make the story bigger. Like he starts to tell it, and then in his mind he realizes that it's not as intense as he thinks it is. It's like, it's a death threat. It's a death threat.
Well, they said my grave, right? He said my grave. So that means it was he wants me to die, and if he wants me to die, I'm so awesome that I can't die. So the only way that I could die is if he killed me, right? That's a death threat.
Yeah.
A new Crayola event, Sizzle Wheel shows off the system in an uploaded video.
You mean Crabrola event? This is the infamous Retro Bro. What was it? What they call it? Amico Palooza. The first.
Is that what they did? I don't remember that.
Amico Fest. That's what he called it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Amico Fest. Yes.
Because they had the pre-game, right? So what's missing from this is the pre-game celebration of, oh my God, look how great this is. Amico Fest. We're all coming down. Bro, he didn't organize it, right? So I think there's like a misconception as to what Bro did. He was more of a go-between, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Saggy, she organized that other event. She went out. She took, like, as far as I know, like Tommy's was going in between. Like the messages were being passed back and forth. So it wasn't like Retro Bro independently organized this. And then like, hey, Tommy, come bring your Amicos. It was more like, oh, there's a Crayola thing in your town. Well, go talk to them, tell me what they say, and then back and forth type thing. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding of the situation.
Did you talk to Slopes about the basement party at all? This? Yeah. Was he aware of that?
I think he's aware of it, but like I said, there was certain things that he didn't want to include. He didn't really want to rag on the shills. I don't think he includes the infamous Cyrus White Claw moment.
Meltdown. I still think that basement party was the peak of like Amico shill strength. I think after that, it kind of began to fall apart. Like this was the definite, because it was before the final, it was before the last delay, and it was like everybody was happy and meeting. This was their ultimate, this was like their strength, their biggest moment.
They were showing it off. They're like, look, it exists, it's real.
Yeah.
Here it is. You guys are liars, and look, it's ready to launch. It's all ready to go. We got this event set up. This was the first of many, right? It was gonna like Amico events across the nation. It was gonna sweep everybody. We're all celebrating together. Infamous parking lot picture of all the shills. CC Rivers Risser says, I thought Kevtris stalked his wife, and much later Kev said I wouldn't be interested. Yeah. So what happened was, this was an interesting side. But so in the Discord, that was the classic gaming Discord, in the Amico channel, people would talk about Amico, obviously, right? And some people got to digging because that's what people do. And like, hey, Tommy's wife has a business where she like massages horses, right? She's like a horse massager.
I never heard of that. I didn't know that.
So people were laughing at it, making jokes and stuff. And I think Kevtris like made a joke or two. But our buddy Relic Gamer was in there. He was, lurking in the Discord, taking screenshots and sending screenshots to Tommy, like, oh my God, they're talking about your wife, and oh my God, look, he mentioned that your wife worked at this massage place. He must be stalking her and stuff. And that's how the story, blew up from just a bunch of idiots, making fun of Tommy's wife's horse massage business to, oh my God, Kevtris is stalking his wife.
Jesus. You got to make it. That's like, it's literally like going back. I mean, talking like politics and shit. Like, it literally, like, you have to make the other side seem, it has to be so much worse so that you can report back to your little minions and they can rally around the troops. Like, look what they're doing. Look how evil they are. They're going against Tommy's wife. And it was literally like, no, it's stupid because she massages horses.
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke.
There was two instances where Tommy's wife was brought up. The horse massaging thing. And then later on, there was a joke because somebody, I forget who it was. It was like just some random account, and came into like YouTube and called Tommy's wife a whore, right?
Oof. Yeah.
And that's what we were all like, no, that's not cool, right?
Yeah, we're not playing that.
So it was just like one person made this comment, and it was like it lost the time where it's at, and it was just some some comments.
Condom.
It was just some random comment, right? And Tommy, I guess somehow Tommy found out about this random, and then he just kept bringing it up. They call my wife a whore. They keep calling him out, and like we're like, dude, like the only one calling. So we started making fun of Tommy because we're like, the only one calling Tommy's wife a whore is Tommy because he keeps bringing it up, right? Like, none of us are talking about it.
Hell, it could have been Tommy himself coming in there just to like plant that, just to have something to say.
I think it was Relic. Well,
It probably, but I mean, there's certainly trolls out there that are just trying to stir the pot, but it would not surprise me at all if it was one of them.
False flag.
Exactly.
This lady right here is an investor.
Yes.
Investor lady. Y'all better watch yourselves. Uh-oh. Retro Game Professor, what are we watching ourselves for?
We're going to get relicked.
Oh, no. Didn't he move like to Japan or something?
Did
like he was selling, I think at one point he was like, I'm selling all my stuff. I'm moving to Japan because Tommy's dream failed.
Sad.
You know, if you stop this just right the way the letters came in, it almost said Amico lies.
Yeah.
I've uncovered.
I wonder if he did that as a little trick.
Subconsciously, he knew.
From Intellivision. However, Tony TGD quickly discovers that one of the people in said video singing its praises was none other than an investor for the system.
Good job.
That Tony TGD is always finding shit out. But it has to be mentioned.
Quickly
so this guy here is obviously an Intellivision fan. He's got an Intellivision baseball shirt on.
Yeah.
Convenient that an event that wasn't advertised to the public and no one knew when it was being held had Intellivision fans show up, right? Wearing Intellivision gear.
What's weird, when I went back, when I was like making that video and I was asking about the thing with Rich, the part where he talked about the Little Mermaid, I think Tommy's he changed into that exact same shirt.
Yeah, they were selling it on the Amico website.
Oh, were they? Okay. Yeah.
This gentleman here with the Intellivision hat on, also being sold on the Amico website. That's Anthium Two Tails. That's the Anthium Two Tails family. Funny how he covers up whenever he's on his YouTube channel, but no covering up for the Amico promo video here.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
I feel bad for his family, kind of, because I think weren't they the ones that got like Amico gifts for Christmas, I believe?
I think they did.
They did. They're never gonna get it. That sucks.
Justy View says Amico lies, fam.
Yeah.
in said video singing its praises was none other than an investor for the system, aka someone who has money to gain from promoting it.
And there she is. Congratulations to everyone at the event. It was great meeting everyone at the Crayola factory. Where can I pre-order Amico? Tommy says, thanks, D. Great meeting you as well. You can pre-order direct from Intellivision. Thanks, Tommy. And this is all in the, what the hell, the Republic page?
Yeah.
which is a bit weird because back over on Reddit, user Yobadobadoo claims to have also been at the events, but states that the games shown off were just
Okay, nothing you can't get anywhere else. System felt nowhere near done, in particular the controller. They kept disconnecting, had no battery life, and the touchscreen was locked, flipped upside down for games like Astro Smash. The most baffling thing of all was how much praise the Amico disc had gotten. It didn't feel good to play. I know this is a personal criticism, but the disc will not sell you on the console. All the hype around it feels astroturfed.
Oh, it was astroturfed. Some of the things that, again, because Slopes wasn't around, wasn't aware, and because some of these things happened just like, that quick. Slopes missed the fact that I think I mentioned it maybe in the first video, but it bears repeating. On Atari Age, there was people that showed up praising the Amico and how great it was going to be, and then it turns out, oh, those are actually employees of the company. And then on Reddit, there was people praising the system, and then what happened was someone asked a question, right? They said, "Hey, well, when's it going to be released or something, right?" And the account that was asking questions suddenly answered the question, but he answered it in a way like he was working for the company. Turns out he forgot to switch his accounts.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. So he got busted. So on Reddit, there was people astroturfing. So it stands to reason that there probably was astroturfing going on YouTube too.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
And probably in the comment sections for all the Amico articles that were being written.
Everything, dude. Everywhere. It was a full-fledged campaign. Like you said, false flag. I mean, it's all bullshit. All led by Tommy.
All right. So Yabba Dabba Doo also had that picture that we showed that had that weird menu that no one could figure out what it was. It had that, so that's where that picture came from. And also he mentions there was a glitch when he played Flying Tigers that he did the bomb that, the big screen clearing bomb. And that the screen just stayed white for like 15 to 20 seconds. Like it flashed and then it just stuck white into the next level. So.
Speaking of the Geek Getaway.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey.
Looks familiar.
Yeah.
Slopes didn't mention Hans Ippish. That's irrelevant. I hate to break it to people, but people have money. Right, Hans had. It wasn't like Hans was like destitute on the street, and then suddenly he's going on vacation. Right, like Hans had money, so it's not like you can't directly go, well, they raised money, and then that money went directly into Hans, and then he used it for vacation. Right, it's like he was collecting a salary, he had money already. People go on vacations.
Right.
It's not as nefarious as you think. Now you could say, well, he went on vacation when he should have been working because there was issues with the console or things.
Right.
Now that's an argument, but not just the fact that he went on vacation, right? Come on. Guido and Hans attacking haters. Now that's something that should have been mentioned.
Guido, I forgot about Guido. Good old Guido.
Shane says getting an Amico would be like jerking it off left-handed. Why do it that way when you could do it right-hand or have someone else do it for you?
And that's the stranger, isn't it? When you do the left-handed.
The stranger is when you sit on your hand.
Oh, and it goes numb. Yeah.
Nolster said, I thought they were deleting negative comments from Amico videos, disabled comments for the amazing box. Yeah, they were. That was the original thing. That's how I originally got involved. After I covered the Roblox thing, and then I started looking at the Amico, then I was like, wait a minute. What's this comment here? And this comment said something about them curating the comment section on the Amico videos, investigated, found out that it was true. Tommy didn't like that. But yeah, they were deleting negative comments. Eventually, I think they just gave up at some point. They're just like, whatever. So now there's negative comments all over the place. Remember when Tommy went on vacation for his own birthday? Or was that Phil? No, that was Phil. Phil went on vacation.
Yeah.
Tommy just went on vacation like twice for just no. It was like, hey, we're going to be delayed. And then Tommy went on vacation. But it wasn't launch time. That was the thing. Like, it wasn't going to launch. We know it wasn't launch time. They pretended like it was going to launch, but it wasn't. It's weird to see older videos where Tommy deleted some, but not all of his buffoonery in the comments. Yeah. This damn geek getaway.
He's also gone and got himself another Intellivision interview
Look at that frog. Look at that.
with Amico CFO and COO Nick Richards. He does this due to the Geek Getaway donating over $2,000 for the signed Amico shell.
That damn shell. It was only supposed to be, I think it was like 1,800. I know that's not a big difference. And then the damn thing went longer than it was supposed to. The damn auction.
Oh, really? They left it on there hoping somebody else would outbid you? Or did they know that? I guess they didn't know at the time it was you, or did they?
I have no idea if they knew or not, but it was like, okay, so the auction said it was running, say, till the 5th, right?
Uh-huh.
So I put the auto bid up to like 2,500, I think, right?
Yeah.
Thinking it wasn't ever going to reach that, right? And I was winning. Like when I went to bed, it was like 12. I was like, oh, I guess they're on the West Coast or whatever, right? So I was like, so it's probably, 12 their time, before it changes the next day. So I was like, within an hour, it can't. And then I looked, and the final bid was like 7 in the morning or something. It's like they let it run like an extra 6 hours.
Those motherfuckers.
Still, an extremely weird interview to take place, considering Nick doesn't exactly look thrilled to be interviewed throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, he never looked happy.
No.
And it was funny because before the interview, he popped in early. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" Right? He wasn't even happy, "Hey, how's it going?" He was just like, "Hey, all right, so I'm here. Let me know when we're ready." And he's like, "Do." He's like paperwork. I was like, "Oh my god!" It was so uncomfortable before. I was like, there was no conversation. It was just Nick being.
He hated you, I'm sure.
I think he did. Yeah.
Was this before or after all of the prairie dog stuff we made fun
This
of
was
before?
after.
Oh yeah.
That's why everyone got mad. A lot of people got mad at me because I didn't ask Nick about the prairie dog stuff and I didn't bring it up because that's not what we were there for, right?
Nah. That would have just been gotcha journalism kind of stuff.
Not even, because that would have just been, he would just be like, well, fuck you, I'm leaving, right?
Yeah.
Joshua says, I clearly remember Pat giving a shout out to Tony for the Nick Richards interview. He did. That was the only time he gave me a shout out. And then afterward, I think the next episode, they found out that I was one of those crazy, not Democrats.
Gamergate.
Yeah. Nick, damn, I have to work today. Yeah. They also forgot the part where Nick Richards threatened legal action against Ninja Kitty.
Oh, really? I don't think I ever heard about that.
Yeah, Ninja Kitty did a video. So when Hans's kids are playing cornhole, it doesn't look like it's real, right? So Ninja Kitty did a video saying that I don't think this is real. I think that they're faking it. And it was exposed or something, exposed Intellivision faking video or something, right? And Nick Richards that's defamation, and we're gonna have to contact legal if you don't change the title of your video or something.
I remember the video, but I didn't know that happened.
That's the best interview you've done, is it? I like that interview. I think it was good. I think it could have been better. Part of the problem with any of the Amico interviews, any of the even the Shill interviews or Top Loaded's interview, my interview with Tommy, the problem with all of these interviews is there's no way to know that they're lying, right? We don't expect anybody to lie. So you could probably go back, and at the time we were like, oh yes, Nick, this is a breath of fresh air. Nick is being honest about things, yada yada yada, right? And then now, if you go back and watch it, you're probably like, oh no, that's when he was lying. He lied there. He lied there. That wasn't exactly the truth. That never happened. That's another lie, right? He in the interview. It's 2021. In the interview, he's talking as if it's ready to launch, right? And here it is 2 years later, and it's still not launched.
Yeah, I think we did do that too. I remember. I'm pretty sure I made a video. I remember other people talking about it, saying it is like a breath of fresh air. Like having he's coming in, he's actually telling us stuff, and he's not pumping it up like Tommy did. And but yeah, looking back now, it's pure bullshit too. Good point.
Tommy says, "Lol, you can sue us. Just prove it's not fake first." I mean, you can sue for anything. You don't have to prove anything. That would be when you get to court. That's when you have to prove, not actual lawsuit. And I don't think Ninja Kitty wants to go through the hassle of missing work and doing all the things.
Yeah.
As he sits in front of a door called the Hater Dungeon. What?
I asked him about that, remember? He said his daughter put that up.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Look at that. Look at the old avatar. Old school.
Oh, I forgot about that guy.
That's what I look like, by the way.
Is it?
It is. That's 100%.
You got that little bottom goatee thing?
When I shave. Right now I'm full beard. I'm ZZ topping it.
He confirms the company's policies and visions in what is often looked at as one of the best interviews since the system's announcement. The interview doesn't feel like an infomercial. It feels honest.
And Tommy fundamentally wants to please the customers. Like that's to a fault sometimes, at least from my perspective. Like, do we need 6 games? Like, is that important? Can we have 5 games? 4 games, maybe?
Again, this is probably one of the best interviews ever for the system. And
I love how the Ferrari's there.
Yeah, of course.
I just imagine Tommy was in the office playing with it. Vroom, vroom. Nick, 7 games. Vroom, vroom. Just sitting back there. Nick's like, shut up, Tommy. No, it says Hater Dungeon. It doesn't say Water Dungeon. It says Hater Dungeon. Nick Richards confirmed it in the interview.
Yeah.
And for people that want to dig deeper, it is definitely a worthwhile watch. What's not so good, however, is yet another walk around the offices from Tommy himself, who goes into detail about the changes that they've made to Cornhole.
And this right here, it was like, I think it was like what, like I interviewed him maybe on like a Wednesday or something, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this is great, it's awesome, fucking honesty, fresh start." Right? This was like a fresh start for Amico.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everyone's like, we're gonna give them a chance going forward. They've been honest, they've been open, no silly theatrics. Nick Richards was clear and concise. Next day, Tommy, let's go through the office and put on some theatrics.
He had to. It's like a little kid with his little toy. Like he had to show, look at me too.
Yeah, because everybody was praising it. The haters always shit on a Tommy interview, right? The shills love Tommy's interviews, but the haters were all like, fuck this guy, right? Nick Richards' interview happened, and everybody, shills, haters, we all came together and said, this was a good interview. It was honest, it was open, we loved it. And then Tommy's like, I'm the center of attention, not Nick.
Yeah.
Turns out the motion controls are gone, and instead you have what sounds like a fairly complicated list of things to do in order to line up the shot. In other words, this is now no different. In fact, it's arguably more complicated than any bog standard golf or bowling game, making it completely playable on any other system.
I never noticed these people. Like, what are these people doing back here?
They're being told to look like it's busy, like make the office look full, like you're doing stuff.
Well, watch them.
Complicated than any bog standard golf or bowling game, making it completely playable on any other system.
They're just like looking at phones and stuff. Like, weird.
They're doing office work stuff.
They got that red Solo cup. They're out there getting ready for beer pong.
This thing too. This was so damning too. That showing that damn cornhole game, how bad it was too. Like after everything, it was like completely whatever that Nick Richards interview done, they just switched it all to people talking about how stupid cornhole looked. Like he ruined it. Not just how it looked, but how bad it played. Like motion controls. Like motion controls was what you sold us on. Cornhole was interesting because of motion controls. Like that was what you had one job. Yeah, exactly. Joshua says those are the wiser employees just sitting around. They're like, man, we had to come into work today, so they brought their wives. Like, don't worry, it's like 10 minutes. Tommy's gonna walk around, then we can go home. Just sit in the back. Don't worry. Just don't look Tommy in the eyes directly. Don't look.
Then he's gonna start talking to you, and then we'll never leave. It's not a warehouse job picking boxes. No, it's not. It's not. Tommy Amico says, I remember something about they made the interns watch hater videos, so he sent his daughter to watch Darius. Good Lord, Nick.
He did? No way.
I don't know if he sent his daughter to watch Darius, but he did mention, because I asked him about hater videos or something, right? And he said, like, yeah, that he's aware of all of them. Because I think I asked him about the Ninja Kitty thing, and he's like, yeah, we're aware of who you are, Ninja Kitty, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, that we have interns watching you guys. That literally, like, why he would admit that, I guess, I don't know. But he was like,
That's
literally,
great.
that they had people working for the company
Being
watching
paid.
our videos, being paid, probably, hopefully being paid. Could you imagine going to a job, you're going to intern at a video game company, like, oh, you're all excited, you're going to learn how to, be devs and stuff, and you're like, oh, I got your nice clothes on. You're like, they're like, could you come in this room? You're like, oh shit, they got that. Look, there's a TV. Oh, we're going to start play testing or something. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. You're all excited, and they're like, this is Ninja Kitty. I'm going to need you to watch every video from his channel and take notes. Let us know what he says about the Amico.
I would love to just be listening as they were watching our videos. That would be so amazing to have video recording of that, seeing or like the notes that they took. God, I don't know how much I would pay to have that experience, to be able to see that.
Joshua Perez says, Nick did mention hearing Ninja Kitty a lot around the office. Yeah. Myself, Ninja Kitty. Hammock Man, we've learned that Tommy watched him. Tommy Amico, obviously. They watched us all. Could you imagine them just like, we had CEOs, vice presidents, presidents, like these CFOs. They're just sitting around watching our videos because we made fun of them. These bastards talking about my bald spot again.
Oh my God. What a joke.
It is so like, I want the Netflix version of this, right? I want the Netflix version where they're sitting around, they're like, we got something important to watch, and they're like all it's all serious, like boom, boom, boom. Got that big music pumping in, and they're like rolling in TVs into the conference room. They're like, we got to put a stop to this. They turn it on, and then Ralph Macchio, who's playing me, Ralph Macchio as Tony TGD, comes out and just starts talking shit. They're like, what? What do they do? They're watching YouTube videos? This can't be real.
You know what it's like? I don't know if you've watched. You probably haven't. I've only watched it because my wife liked watching it. But the Crown on Netflix, it's kind of like that. Like, it's made to be like so dramatic. Like the royals watching like all of the negative coverage about them, and it's like this like it's so dramatic. Like they're so worried about. That's exactly what it fucking is. It's exactly. It feels like a Crown spoof.
Them watching Hammy on his hammock and them calling him a bastard. Yeah, it's fucking bastard.
I'm sure.
Throwing stuff down. Like that scene, that Hitler meme where like Hitler's all mad, like throwing the things. That's Tommy like throwing the fucking pencils down. These bastards. Why don't they love me? Calm down, Tommy. It'll be okay. No, Nick. It's not going to be okay. This 40-year-old man thinks my system's a joke.
I remember literally specifically looking into the camera and saying, F you, Tommy. Like, look me in the eyes. F you. Like,
just replay
oh my God.
The Amico story is so fantastical, right? Like, if I didn't live it, if you just sat me down,
you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, and you're like, this is what happened, and you went through the events. I was like, you're a fucking liar, dude. There's no way any of that stuff. If this is a Netflix thing, they would have to cut things out. Like, no, there's no way anybody would believe this. It's impossible. Right? There's no way. But I was there. I lived it. I was there. Why didn't Slopes mention that family members being employees? Because it's to us, it's interesting, right? But it's not, unless you can prove that they hired family members that didn't do anything or weren't qualified for the positions. It's a non-issue, right? It's like, it's not illegal to hire people that you know or people that you are related to.
Right.
like I said, to us, it's interesting. It's like, oh, damn, they're probably doing something nefarious, but you can't prove it. And this is not the kind of video for hearsay and conjecture. This is not a conjecture video. Slopes did a documentary.
Right.
It's not unethical, Joshua. It's not unethical. It's not a conflict of interest either. If I'm related to somebody, if I go at my job and I hire Sidekick Max to work there, that's not unethical. It happens everywhere. In every company, from now into the history of forever, companies have hired employees and that are related to them or related to other employees.
Yeah, it's called nepotism, right? I
Yeah.
think that's what the term is.
It's nepotism. It's not always a bad thing, right? Like if Hammock Man's a good employee and he's like, I got a son, and they're like, oh well, shit, I want another Hammock Man. Bring your son in, right? Like he's
My
probably
family-
as good too.
My family's business, we had a lot of the family working with us. Like my mom's business, there was a lot. Like her business partner had a lot of her family. Both kids were working there. Both of us worked for my mom's company. Me and my brother, and then we had cousins and all sorts of people were working there.
Yeah, Tommy Amico says, yeah, bigwigs kids as interns is normal. It is. It really is. I mean, it would be really hard to regulate that stuff. You'd be like, you can't hire anybody that you're related to. They'd be like, well, then how do I start a company? The whole point is for my family to take over, right? So that's why you hire family, because I want to keep it in the family. And we call it the homie hookup. Yeah. Or you pretend like you're related to somebody, like, hey, tell them you're my cousin so that you'll get the job. Right? I used to have this cousin, cousin Bob. Right? He wasn't related to me at all. We just always used to call him Cousin Bob, and we got him jobs like that. Like, hey, I'm gonna have my cousin come work with us. They're like, oh yeah. And you fill it out, and he's like, he's got a completely different last name. No, it's a second cousin. Don't worry about it. It's cousin Bob. You Super J says, I would love to see the story done by the Toys That Built America crew on History Channel. I would love to see a real, actual, documentary crew do something. But again, A, it's so fantastical, I don't think people would believe it. B, I don't think that, to us it's interesting, right? We're in this space. But I think a lot of people would just be like, it's some stupid video game thing, right? Like, it's not Nintendo, it's not Sega, it's not Atari even, right?
Yeah.
It's in television. It's like,
I mean, they did the King of Kong because it's Donkey Kong. Everyone knows Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but that was like a small independent film too. I don't even think it got much play. Like if you asked the normal person on the street, if like you stopped like 100 people and you asked them, hey, have you seen King of Kong or have you heard of King of Kong? You know of Billy Mitchell?
That's true.
They'd probably be like, what? No.
Right.
Potion says I hire strangers to do strange things with.
Well, as long as they're not family.
It's weird hitting on your family members at work. I mean, unless you live in Alabama. You Super J says I worked for my dad, who was the president of the company. It was harder because of it. Always held to a different standard.
Yes, me too, dude. I got no free rides from my mom. I was treated worse than a regular employee.
How are the neighbors' cats? All right, we got these two drunken podcasters, as Mike Kennedy called them.
Pretend you're bowling. Pretend you're bowling. This is no longer pretend you're throwing a beanbag. No, now you have to look at the TV screen. Now you're look on the touch. Look at the touchpad. Set the arc. It doesn't sound fun. No, it's not fun.
And the criticism doesn't just come from the haters regarding this control change, but plenty of formerly positive folk over on Atari Age too. Directing traffic away from this, we finally get our first look at the boxed edition games in a sneak peek on YouTube.
Rusty Butcher
Leaves the company, we get our first look at the wood grain model on Reddit, and then, as previously stated, the Amico is delayed again.
We originally planned to launch Amico in the fall of 2020, but had to adapt during the midst of the global pandemic disrupting our production.
You know what's funny about all this?
What's that?
If you go back to my interview with Tommy, right? We actually discussed the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I actually told him, I said, Tommy, he goes, oh, well, it's kind of getting better. I said, Tommy, it's not getting better. It's going to look like it's better. Then it's going to flare back up. I actually was like, this is exactly how, and I predicted exactly how the pandemic was going to play out. So if he just listened to me, You know. Joseph Handyboat says Tommy Tallarico as the crazy CEO is selling point. The guy who calls everyone gaming racist and provides rides. That is,
Yeah.
I mean, he had name recognition. I don't think they realized how crazy he was, right?
Oh no.
It's like David Jaffe, right? We know who David Jaffe is. He's like, he's the guy who did God of War. He's the Twisted Metal guy, right? Like if I was doing a car combat game and I was like, I'm gonna get David Jaffe to be the head of it, you'd all be pumped. Like, yeah, he made Twisted Metal. This is the guy, right? We're gonna get a great game. And then you like I just let him loose. I was like, go ahead, David. Like he's crazy. Like if you've seen David Jaffe in the last couple of years,
I haven't.
That boy, off his rocker. He also believes Tommy was not a scammer, by the way. At least not in his eyes. Yeah.
Despite our best efforts and now facing new unprecedented international component supply and logistics challenges beyond our control, we want to apologize as we are forced to push our desired launch date yet again.
See, again, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, so if they were going to launch in 2020, right?
Right.
To launch in October of 2020, they would have had to have gotten the supplies well in advance, right?
Yes.
COVID, although it did pop up in 2020 at the early, right? It wasn't like it hadn't really affected a lot of stuff until like the tail end going into 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they would have gotten the supplies would have been like, say, May at the latest, right? May 2020. Yeah. But they should have got it well in advance of May. So January, we'll say January 2020, they should have already had everything they needed. Everything should have been set up.
Yeah.
If the console was ready to launch, right?
COVID was not a problem then.
COVID was not a problem. So why did they delay that first time? Well, because the console wasn't ready, right? And they didn't buy any supplies because they didn't know what they needed because they hadn't finished designing it because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And then they got stuck with COVID. COVID was a convenient.
It was an excuse.
Smokescreen.
Yes, big time, and they used it to their full advantage. Like if it weren't for COVID, it would have. I don't think this thing could have been drug on as long because that was like a massive lie. Like for the whole time, like, oh, once COVID gets through, don't worry, we'll get back on track. Never did. COVID bought them time.
Yeah, lots of time. C. Slopes didn't mention E3 2021 on this part. Is there? No, I guess he didn't. Yeah, so there's a lot he didn't. I think he was tired by then. He was like, he was all Amico'd out. He's like, fuck this. He phoned it in at the end there.
It was a valiant effort. Yeah, all the nonsense.
When was E3 2021?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, let me Google it. June 12th. So what day is it here? This is August. Yeah, so it already happened, E3 2021. So yeah, it should have been.
What happened during then? I don't even remember. Wasn't it like kind of the same dumbass video that
it was
before, and they kind of spruced it up a little bit?
Yeah. Blame it on long COVID.
Long COVID.
Yeah, I remember that. 56K when he says Tommy's reputation was known, but never outside the gaming forums. Tommy living in the social media exposed era, so his laundry is out in the open. Yeah, all of his old laundry came to roost. Tommy was so used to like the internet being this small, small little islands, right? Where you could do something. You could do something on this one little island called the G4 forums, and no one outside of this little island knew what the hell was going on, right? But the internet's not like that no more. Like you said, it's all connected now.
We won't get another person like Tommy unless they're just absolutely insane because of that. Because that time has passed. The internet is so big now. Like he grew up during the time when it was small, and it's just gotten bigger during his lifetime. He's just completely exposed all of his craziness.
Yeah, aired them all out. I mean, there's no way. In 2023, if I made a website right now and I had celebrities wearing Geek Getaway gear, right? There's no way I could get away with photoshopping my logo on a bunch of celebrity T-shirts.
No.
Right? Like within seconds, people will be like, "That's fake." Tony's fucking like those celebrities never wore geek giveaway shit. But Tommy got away with that for years. No one
did.
called him on it. So
it all caught up to him.
Yeah, all
in a
those lies.
Spectacular fashion.
I mean, he was lying about Terminator for so long that articles have gotten written that he was the first. Right? This is how like insane this all is. Right? And this is how like when they say like a lie is halfway around the world before the truth puts its pants on. Right?
Yes.
Tommy lied so many people. Right? He bullshitted so many people that those people wrote articles that were then referenced by other people that didn't realize that the articles they were referencing were bullshit. That even now, there's probably people who write an article at some point in 2023, 2024, 2025 that'll be like, oh yeah, when they're talking about guitars or music and video games, they'll be like, Tommy Tallarico was the first person to put a real guitar in a video game. I mean, there's a pinned tweet, or at least it was pinned. I don't know if it's still pinned on Tommy's Twitter, going to an article at CBR, I think. It basically says, yeah, Tommy Tallarico was the first guy to put guitars in a video game. And I even told Tommy, because when he went into that Lion's Den, you know, the Amico subreddit, he came in there with his, you know, I'm gonna teach you haters. I said, Tommy, why do you got this pen? Well, I'm not the guy who wrote it. I didn't write the article, so it's not my responsibility if the information is wrong. I said, Tommy, you have it pinned on your fucking Twitter, right? Shouldn't you want it to be accurate? Shouldn't you be, hey, I'm not the first one? And literally, this is how bad the writer is. Literally, in the article itself, and maybe we should take a sidetrack, because in the article itself, it links to another article that says Tommy isn't the first person to put guitars in a game.
Really?
Yeah. Literally. In the article that's making a claim is linking to another article that's saying the opposite.
I was just thinking while you were talking about while we were talking about King of Kong earlier, and with like it's a similar story, because it was like Billy Mitchell and his little I can't remember his little buddy's name that had the dragster record. Like they were at a time too when they could get by and lie, and like because video games were still kind of niche, and the records and stuff were kind of niche, but it's become such a big thing now that they were exposed. Like it's been so obvious that like that dragster record that was a big deal. It's like you can literally break down the games now. Like back then you couldn't, but you can break the game down and recognize that it is literally impossible to get the time that they were claiming. Like it's just changed.
Oh my God.
Oh no. What'd you find?
So I went to the article, right? Because I was like, well, let's, in case we take a sidetrack. So I clicked the link that's linked in the article that was linked is now gone. Is now missing.
The one that said that it wasn't true?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's a Baltimore Symphony Orchestra article. I got to check the Wayback Machine. All right.
Uh-oh.
Things I got to do.
Hey, we got to be accurate here. Put on your journalist hat.
Putting on my hat. All right. So, yeah, okay, there it is. It is on the Wayback Machine. Why they took it down? No clue.
Maybe Relic Gamer got a hold of them.
You think so?
I don't know. He's out there somewhere sniffing around. Relic Gamer has been quiet, but he's out there.
Okay, so we're going to take that trip right now.
Let's do it.
Because we got to stretch this out. We're getting in the home stretch.
Justy wants 6 parts.
All right, so this is the article. Okay, this is if you go to Tommy Tallarico's Twitter account, this is still pinned. His dad passed away, rest in peace, but that's not pinned on Tommy Tallarico's Twitter, right? what's pinned is this article here, which is from February 7th, 2021. How Tommy Tallarico and the Terminator revolutionized video game music forever. Okay. Now, if you scroll all the way down, where is it at? Scroll a little too far. So it says, despite the naysayers, and we'll highlight it, Tallarico managed to pull off his vision and became the first person to use a live guitar and 3D audio in a video game. First person. Okay. And now there's a link. So we're going to click that link. And that link, and I got to stop sharing because the way links work when you use StreamYards, is going to take us to this screen here. Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. Bummer. You could try searching for what you're looking for using the forms below. If that still doesn't provide the result you're looking for, you can always start over from the homepage. It's gone. It's gone. Mysteriously.
Wow.
But as we know, we live in an age where nothing is gone forever.
Tommy never learned that.
I don't know if Tommy had this pulled down or somebody else suggested it, but here it is. The page that we were missing is this page here. You see it? Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, Tommy Tallarico. Now, if we go to the section where it says about the Terminator, it says, Tommy was one of the first person to ever use live guitar and 3D audio in video game. The Terminator. One of the first person.
One of, right.
Not the first person. How is it that CBR, which is supposed to be a legitimate journalistic website, can say that Tommy's the first and then link to a literal Baltimore Symphony Orchestra page dedicated to Tommy Tallarico, in which it says he's one of the first. One of the first. Sloppy journalism.
I don't know, dude.
And then when
And
pointed
again,
out to
it's like-
Tommy, right? And then I pointed it out to Tommy, and Tommy, instead of saying, hey, CBR, you guys fucked up. You're not giving credit to the proper person that deserves the credit. You're giving me too much. He just wiped his hands of it, said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't write it. Not my problem.
And that's the same thing that happened with that Pac-Man, that perfect Pac-Man score. Billy Mitchell was not the first one to get it. Not to keep going back to that, but somebody else got it, and Billy Mitchell took the credit. I mean, there's just so stories parallel well, like the way that they are, the kind of people they are.
You Super J says Tommy's like a middle-aged woman on Facebook using profile pics from 20 years ago.
Catfish.
Which is funny because Tommy did they were always using like old ass photos of Tommy, Nick Richards. All of them used it. They were so narcissistic, so full of themselves. They had to use those old pictures to make it look like they're still young and attractive. You should have archive any bookmark you make, Tony. Tony 0, Mike 1. Mike 1 who?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't bookmark things. I do have a list of, because if I bookmarked everything that was Amico related, I'd have my bookmarks would just be like this huge list.
Your computer would break down.
Yeah. So I actually have, whenever I want to save something, what I did was I go to Discord and I open up a group chat on Discord with myself. So I'm the only one in the group chat. And then I just type links and stuff in there so that they're all in this handy section.
Smart.
It is a pain in the ass to go through when you're looking for something specific, like right now. But we get there eventually, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe you could organize them by like sections or something.
Maybe. Sounds like a lot of work. You know me, I'm lazy.
It does. Yeah, I know.
That's why I didn't do a documentary. That's why I was like, oh, Slopes is doing it? Nah, go ahead.
Yeah. No kidding.
And even though it's apparently due to chip shortages and not money, on the 19th of August, we get yet another crowdfunding campaign, this time over on Fundable. Although, is this crowdfunding or is it investing?
Hello there, I'm CEO of Fundable.com, the largest business crowdfunding site that has just acquired LaunchRock. Ask me anything.
Yep, it's crowdfunding.
That's,
Now a few things to
that
take note of
Gen
this
X?
one. Firstly, there is no way to work out exactly how much money.
Was it?
I think it was Gen X's voice.
It's crowdfunding. Now,
Acquired LaunchRock.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even notice the first time until you pointed it out.
Ask me anything.
yep, it's crowdfunding. Now, a few things to take note with this one. Firstly, there is no way to work out exactly how much money, if any, was raised here. The site simply just doesn't work like that. To be on this platform, the owner of the campaign would need to pay a little less than $200 a month to host the campaign. Hence why most campaigns only last a couple of months on the platform. Now, there are theories that this fee was never paid, as having such a big project on the platform would work as promo for Fundable. But again, these are just theories, so please do not take this as fact. However, what this round of crowdfunding does tell us is that the hardware is 100% complete, the OS is 90%, the 6-packing games are at 95%, and the back-end operations are at 80%.
I still don't know how he got those numbers, right? Like,
yeah, I know. How do you 80% be complete with something? You never know what kind of problems are going to pop up.
how do you 95% complete a game? Like, it's 95%, so it's like almost there. We just gotta put a couple more levels, like just one more level to put in. Like, what is the other 5%, right? Like,
Yeah, no kidding. Placeholder graphics need to be filled in.
Right, so we're back to 6 games again now. Oh. J. Allard is, of course, back to 6 games again now. Games are at 95.
operating system 90%. I don't understand. How can the operating system be at 90%? Doesn't it have to work? Doesn't the operating system have to be at 100%?
Yeah, it should be at 100%.
To do the other stuff?
Yeah. He just pulled some bullshit numbers out of his butt to try to do something to sound better than it was.
See, look at that, Nick Richards.
Yeah, look at all that. He's got hair still.
Barely. Like, even back then.
Well, yeah.
You also get to see, as you would expect, being that this is a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter, a nice old splash of company logos that Intellivision have partnered with.
Sadly, all of these got removed. except for Holland Globetrotters and Evil Knievel.
What kind of licensing is it? What Tops? What kind of game is going to be Tops? Let's make the
He
card
did it.
company.
Don't you remember? It was discussed in this video. They licensed Tops to make their Amico gift cards.
I completely zoned out, I guess, during that part. I did not hear that yet. Okay.
Yeah. Because when they're like, oh, we're going to have gift cards.
I do remember that now. I do remember. Okay, I do remember that now. Yes.
All of these logos would eventually get removed at an unknown later date, which may have something to do with Crayola coming out and confirming that even though the Amico had been shown off at their Crayola experience locations, they did not have a partnership with Intellivision.
Thank you for reaching back out with the question. Although the Amico game console was demoed at the Crayola experience, we have no written records indicating that we have an official partnership with Intellivision. We typically do not enter partnerships with other companies and instead prefer to seek licensing opportunities. Any official licensed Crayola product uses our trademark assets, such as our brand logo image, on the product and its packaging with permission.
I didn't recognize Saggy's voice because she's not screaming the first time I heard that.
Oh, I didn't even recognize it at all. No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's Saggy's professional voice. That's why you didn't.
That's professional, yeah.
Tony has cabinets full of index cards in his house. Practically lives in an Amico research lab. I do. I got a big board with lots of red string.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Not crowdfunding advice.
They literally rented out like a children's birthday party room and had this and then decided they were in a partnership with them. So stupid.
Because he thought he could get away with it. He literally...
He did. He used to. Like you said, he used to get away with that shit.
There was other logos. Where were the other logos at?
J. Allard is, of course, completely missing. We also get to see, as you would
right here.
Expect.
The press mentions, they were never mentioned on IGN. I never heard of Hidden Wires, the ramp. Video Game Chronicles did not say good things about them. Yahoo's a search engine.
Yeah. I'm on Yahoo.
Yeah. Shit, I'm on Google. Fuck it, you can Google me. I'm there.
Being that this is a crowdfunding.
So Playmobil, nothing ever came of that. I've never heard of anything. Care Bears was just a care card game. Interplay was the Earthworm Jim. Hot Wheels, obviously, was the car crash. Atari, which is so prominent compared to some of the other logos, was just Atari Games. It was not a partnership. They licensed.
Sites like
Most of these were not partnerships. I don't think any of these. Amazon Prime, in case you didn't know, Amazon Prime.
I remember that, yeah.
They have a service that allows you to host things on their blockchain. It was suspected that that was what they were going to use for the NFTs. We don't need to hear Saggy 2 times.
Trademark assets such as our brand logo image on the product and its
Yes, we
packaging
do.
with permission.
we hear that 6,000 units have been pre-ordered, which is technically true. However, wouldn't it be more impressive if he said 13,000 units?
13,000 pre-orders. Remember that? That was from the Fig campaign.
Yeah.
But
they had all those cancellations. That's what it was.
Which again is also true, according to Fig. What the hell is going on here? Have they lost a stupid amount of pre-orders? Are they lying about those pre-orders? Or have they grossly undersold their console in this campaign?
They lost a bunch of pre-orders because what happened was Fig moved to Republic and they never actually got rid of the old Fig site stuff. It's just sitting there on the internet for some reason. And when they got folded into Republic, I believe they lost a bunch of pre-orders. Because they have the
really
because when Fig went into Republic, they had to tell people, hey, this is now Republic. Did you still want the pre-order or whatever? You can't just buy one company and then take their pre-orders and not let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, right.
And so there was probably like some people were like, you know what? No, just give my money back.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then you got the big old 25 million units ordered by global retailers such as Walmart, GameStop, Best Buy, and Co.
That sounds impressive, right? It's $25 million, not 25 million units. So Slopes was he misspoke there, but it was 25 million in units, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time it was still $250 for an Amico. So I think that came out to be 100,000 units.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. So 100,000 units. So then that's not a lot. And then you go, wait a minute. Walmart, GameStop, Best Buy, MediaMarkt, and more. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you say 5, right? If you say the more is just 1, right? So it's 5 companies, right. 100,000 units. That's 20,000 units in each company. And then you go, wait a minute. Well, Walmart has like 6,000 locations, right?
There would have been a couple at each store.
Yeah, but they could put three fucking Amicos.
And then they have to get their cut and stuff. So
Potion says Amazon is partnered with them because they use an Amazon box to ship to DJC. Imagine taking down an Amazon delivery drone and there's a freaking Amico in the box.
Oh, yeah.
USAopoly. Yeah, that's a game where it's like Monopoly, but with the US.
Is that what it is? Or is it just like a Monopoly, their Monopoly brand? Like of all the different Monopoly games?
No, USAopoly is it all there? Yeah,
USAopoly
is all the Monopoly brands.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, Amico, we talked about that yesterday on the IGN Middle East, how he tried to pass it on as it was normal IGN, but it was like the Middle East one. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I guess USAopoly is like the company. It's not like a USA Monopoly.
Yeah.
Weird. I never knew that. I thought it was like Milton Bradley was the company.
There's so many dang Monopoly games now. Have you been to Walmart recently? Looked at their games and stuff. There's always different. There's so many Monopoly games. It
makes money because it's what's hot right now? Batman Monopoly. We can charge an extra $30 for Monopoly by slapping Batman in there. Yeah. Oh, you like Stranger Things? Stranger Things Monopoly. Boom. And it's the exact same game, right? It's the exact same fucking game. Just the pieces are different and the little names. Oh, this is Gotham City, so this is Joker Street, Riddler Avenue. You could ride the Penguin train. And he's like, it's the exact same fucking game.
I saw one. There's like a one that you can do like where you can cheat, and there's like a pair of handcuffs I think in there too that you got to wear. But you're encouraged to try to steal money from the bank when no one's looking.
Yeah, I think it's like Monopoly Banker
Cheatersopoly or something.
Yeah. Adam Wilson's right. I also hate Monopoly.
Me too. It's fun, but it's also like not fun.
There's so many like house rules. There's so many.
Yeah. It's fun when you're dominating your family and like they like have no money and they're rolling back around to your hotels on Boardwalk and you're just like crippling them. But it's awful when you're losing. It's like you just get mad.
Yeah. You're like, you roll the dice. You're like, all I need is a 6 and I'm good. 4. Damn it. I landed on Boardwalk. Now they've crushed me. You know what I really hate when I play Monopoly is when people start working together. Like, well, I'll trade you this for that.
Take him down. Yeah. I didn't like that either.
He's doing good. So, like, I'll give you a free pass. Like, my family always tries that shit. Like, oh, well, you don't have to pay. Like, what do you mean? That's not in the rules.
Yeah,
like,
no, you can't do
not...
that, dude. No, you can't. Oh, I'm going to let you have a free night stay.
Yeah. It's like, no, that's not in the rules.
Yeah, you can't do that crap.
That's why I hate Monopoly. They just...
That's dirty, dude. That's dirty playing.
I'm gonna borrow him $100. No, you can't borrow other players' money like that. There's one you can customize. Yeah, fuck all that. Apparently, a lot of people play it wrong, which is why it's believed that it takes forever. Yeah. So apparently, the whole having to wait one turn to go around before you could buy property, that's not in the rules. Apparently, when you land on a property, if you don't
I never played like that. We never played that. Go around once. We always played you can start buying right away.
Well, I guess that's a Chicago rule because it's always go around once.
Really? No.
And then apparently when you land on a property, right? So let's say you land on Illinois Avenue and you're like, well, I don't want that. You're then supposed to auction it off to the other players.
Oh. Yeah, I do remember reading that in the... we never played like that because it never made sense. I remember reading that in the rules.
I prefer adult board games, Elder Sign, X-Wing. That didn't go how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I didn't adult board games.
That's how real business works. Team up to push out the leader. Yeah. Chicagopoly. Yeah. We got rules like free parking. You put money. All the fines go under free parking, and then if you land on it, you get all the money.
I've played like that before. That is fun playing like that.
And then apparently you're supposed to build evenly. Like you can't just build one hotel. You have to actually build the hotel on each one. You got to build the house on each one. You can't build like 4 houses on one.
Yeah. You got to every property has to of the same color has to have houses first before you can start chunking on the big red hotels.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, so you're supposed to have 4 houses before you can build a hotel, right? So let's say
yes,
you have all the yellows, right? So you can't just build one house on a yellow. You're supposed to have to build one house on each yellow. So you have to build at least 3 houses. And then you'd have to build 3 more, then 3 more, then 3 more. So then you have 4. And then when it comes to hotels, now you have to build both hotels, or all 3 hotels rather, at the same time. You can't just build one hotel.
I can't remember what we did.
Usually what we did was like whatever, like each property was separate. So you could build, 4 things.
No, I think we did it the other way. I think we did it the other way. Like we did all the houses first for that before you could start doing hotels. Each property had to have 4 houses.
We were savage. We just keep playing until you get mad and then start beating each other up.
And flip the board over.
Yeah.
If this is true, that's very, very nice.
I don't know how we get on these tangents. We're talking to Miko, and suddenly we're like, here's the rules for Monopoly. Don't get me started on Uno.
USAopoly.
How do you play Uno, by the way?
What do you mean? I play it by the rules.
Okay, what are the rules that you use? That's what I'm saying. Like, you know how we just discussed how people play Monopoly different?
I mean, we draw the cards, and then it's like when you get draw 4, you draw 4, however the card says.
Okay, so
I
right
don't
now,
know.
okay, you got 2 cards in your hand, right? So we're playing Uno. Let's say we're playing Uno.
You have to say, you have to yell Uno. You have to yell Uno.
Okay, well, when do you have to yell Uno?
When you lay down the last card.
Okay, when you lay it down, right? My ex-wife,
when it hits the board.
We could never play Uno because my ex-wife was insistent that as soon as you had 2 cards in your hand, she'd go Uno. And I'm like, I have 2 cards. Yeah, but you're gonna play.
Yeah, that's not.
I'm like, that's not how it works.
You can't do that. No, it's literally like you have to like. That's why you had to be quick as heck with it, like with your hand, like Uno. You had to be like super quick with it. Yeah, that's dirty.
Yeah, I was like, the point isn't that you call Uno. I was like, the point is if someone forgets, then you catch them, right? You're supposed to catch them. It's not like you're like waiting, like, okay, he's touched the card Uno. Like, no, like, dude, let me put it down.
The card has to hit the board. Come on, lady.
Yeah. And then she would get mad because if you look at the rules, at the actual rules of Uno, you could lay down all your cards at once. Like, so if you have it like draw two, reverse, skip, and then like a number, like that's your hand, you could just put it all down. Boom, you're out. Uno out. She didn't like that. She's like, no, you have to put them down, each one individually.
Is that why y'all got a divorce?
Probably. We couldn't play. I love Uno. I actually won like Uno tournaments in college.
Oh.
I also ran an illegal Uno gambling thing in college. But
oh my God.
Well, the thing is, okay, so they wouldn't allow us to play cards, right? But we could play Uno. They're like, oh, you can play Uno. We got Uno cards, and they let us play. Like, so, like, you know, people want to gamble, so we figured out how to gamble on Uno. So we'd play a penny a point, and then it started escalating to like, well, whoever won the hand, you know, gets to pick how much. And so me and my buddy figured out that, well, the loser always picks how much we're betting, and the winner gets the money, obviously, right? So you be the loser, I'll be the winner. You make sure you set me up to win. You always get to pick how much we're gambling, and then we could just.
Oh, you dirty cheat!
And we had it all set, right? So he would make sure to sit across from me all the time, not next to me, across from me. So he could hit a guy if I needed him. Like, oh, I need you to hit Days with a draw 2, right? And we had codes and everything. Like if I needed yellow, like let's say I had 1 card left in my hand, I had Uno, right? So I needed to be yellow. So next guy goes, he changed it to blue, right? I need that shit yellow. I'd be like, man, yesterday was fucking rough. And he knew when I said started a sentence with a Y word, I need yellow. Boom. Change that shit to yellow.
You get shot doing stuff like that, dude.
Dude, we used to take money. We were getting like 100, 150 a day.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah, we're cleaning up. We had ledgers and everything of people's how much they owed, and like I said, like so I would win, and then because we're always like, well, we want to make sure that the loser had a chance to catch up, right? So since he's the big loser, he'd be like, oh, well, let's pay $5 a hand now, or $10 a hand. I want to try double or nothing.
Start racking it up.
Boom, that's how we'd rack it all up. And all the other people, we had this one dude that would come in. What's up, rabbit dude? He would come in from like out of town because he went to college at a different, like he was at our college and then he graduated and went like to the university.
Yeah.
But he would come back and he had a really good job. So when he'd come back, we'd fleece the shit out of him.
Did you let him win at least a little bit to try to keep it not so obvious, or he'll just straight stealing all his money all the time?
No, we shear the sheep, right? You could shear a sheep as many times as you want. You can only kill it once. You got to remember that. That's cool.
That's true.
So we'd let him leave with some money in his pocket. He'd win a couple of hands, or he'd get really close to winning. Like, oh, he almost had it.
That's funny, man.
The fight or two, right? Because my buddy's losing, so he obviously has to get mad that he's losing, and he's like, "Oh, you're fucking cheating," and he get mad and like throw the cards down, like, "Oh, now the game's over," because Bill's all mad and he left in a huff.
Nice.
I mean, this is not gambling advice. I'm just saying.
Right.
Kind of like when you don't give a receipt after checkout, you yell out Uno, he has a free 40 ounce. No, that's not how it works. I wasn't a Uno scammer. It was a legitimate business. I ran a legitimate business. Uno was just one of the many things that we did. You got to do what you got to do to survive, right? No? Okay, whatever.
Indeed.
Yes.
No, it's too late, Days. You're like this fucking guy. That's a quick way to get a slug in the face, but it wasn't because people didn't know, right? They didn't realize.
Yeah, if you had it that good, that's a good scam. Especially if the dude that's losing has got to be a good actor. Like he's got to be able to play. Or did y'all at least work it backwards to where it would have been smart too? Like if you would let him win sometimes, then you were the big loser, or were you always the big winner?
No, we did that. We worked it back and stuff.
Back and forth, yeah.
We just made sure, right? And every once in a while, we'd let someone else win a hand or two. Like I said, because we're controlling how much the bet is, right? So we could let you win. So now you're up, like Hammock's up $10, right? But we know as long as we keep you in the game, in about 15 minutes, you're going to be down like $30, right? we're controlling the flow of it, so it doesn't matter. And you don't think that it's a scam because you're not losing every hand, right? You are winning hands. Yeah. You're just never able to climb yourself out of the hole because,
especially if you're like drinking or smoking or something too, you probably wouldn't realize it as much.
And we also had a couple sexy females would come over and be like, "Hey,
grease them up,
distract them. Come over here."
Were they getting a cut?
No, they weren't getting a cut. They just got some attention from me. Like, come here, come sit on my lap. Make sure you distract that guy. They knew it was. This was not a Catholic-based school. No, I went to a Catholic high school. This was college. College was not Catholic-based. Tony's documentary about Uno scamming incoming. No. They sound straight out of the movie Boiler. I've never heard of that movie, Boiler.
Yeah, I have. That's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Rounders is a good movie. Watch that.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Sit on my lap as we play Go Fish.
Old maid. You had an old maid on your lap?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm not. I know I sound proud of myself. Not proud of myself, right?
Oh, who cares, dude? I did a bunch of stupid shit when I was younger too. We've grown out of it. Don't worry about it.
We've grown out of it. I don't skim off the top anymore when I sell things. It sounds like a scam from a Rugrats episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like I said, it's like the Amico documentary, right? It sounds made up. Like when
it's
you hear
so simple. Like people would think, who the hell would cheat at Uno? You guys had a whole system.
We had a whole system. Money's funny. I had a system for that. I had a system. I'm a real good salesman. So I was in a club for Latinos. It's a Latino club. And we used to sell nachos and corn. And we used to it's like $250 to like $300 a day. And then we were like $1 of corn, $1.50 for a thing of nachos.
Right.
We had soda pop, chips. Boom, I was a good salesman. I'd get people buying this shit. Like, hey, come here. Hey, you want your boyfriend to buy you some nachos, girl. Don't let this man not feed you. He's got to feed you. Come on. $1.50. He can't afford that shit. And he's going out with you. Oh man, we had that shit pumping. And of course, because it was a club, and I just happened to be the treasurer of the club. See where I'm going with this?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so why should I wasn't gonna work for free. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You were the banker.
I was the
Stealing
banker.
From the bank.
The banker's got to get paid for his job, right?
Right.
Yeah, I accidentally peed on a police station once. That was kind of. How do you accidentally pee on a police station? Accidentally on purpose?
Yeah.
You took all my money playing. You know I can't afford nachos. Yeah. Tony caused my first divorce. Wouldn't be the first divorce I've caused. So. Oh, 56K one. He says, I thought this was Amico Tales, not Tony Tales. Damn. All right, back to the video.
Back to the thing.
And we finally make our way to August 10th, the day that I decide that I'm going to put some money down for a pre-order of this system back over on the FIG website. Please, honestly, you can judge away. I obviously didn't know what we all now collectively know up to this point.
This was weird that he was... I thought FIG was already over by then. How was FIG still taking pre-orders?
When was this when he did this? What was the date?
2021, August.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because Republican, they already did the Republic and everything. They already did the fundable by this time. FIG was already bought by Republic by this time. Why was FIG taking pre-orders still? Seems
weird.
sus. Not sus on Slopes' part, sus on FIG's part. Like, why the fuck were they still taking pre-orders?
Yeah.
The shit was already moved over.
I just want to know if we're in Gym 4, goddammit. Yet another event takes place, and just like last time, the video uploaded by Intellivision is filled with positivity, especially by this girl right here.
Yeah, we discovered that she was an actress. I remember that. But
yeah, I remember that.
There was some other things.
And just like last time, the video uploaded.
This guy's wearing an Intellivision shirt. Sold on Intellivision.com.
By Intellivision.
This guy is another one who's wearing... I think he's got an Intellivision shirt on it, but he was identified as someone from Atari Age, I believe.
It's filled with positive.
And there was someone else. The guy from Octane was there. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
Positivity,
certainly
especially by this girl right here.
Yeah. She stuck out like a sore thumb. It's like, look at there's like 40.
Yeah, she's too cute.
There's 40-year-old men
for...
and then some like 28-year-old blonde chick. Like, that didn't seem right.
This is Amy Shields, in case you were wondering, an actress. No, of course, it doesn't actually mean that she was paid to act in this campaign. That is just theorizing, really. You guys can come to your own conclusion. She may actually live in the area and she may be quite interested in this thing.
Followed by Tommy Tallarico.
More and more people discovered the messy history of the Amico as Gataco posted an article about...
Fucking Slopes. You gotta love. What kind of an actress? A regular actress. Regular actress. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, come on.
About some of the mishaps leading up to this point. Astro Smash.
Oh, he doesn't mention that Kotaku called Tommy a white supremacist, or that he followed white supremacist.
Yeah,
that was
fun.
That was a whole thing. A whole big old thing there.
Just get shown off.
That's when I theorized in one of my videos. I theorized that maybe one of the only people, the thing that could save Tommy would have been like Republicans or something, or somebody that swooped in to try to stick it to the Democrats or something. I don't remember exactly what I said. Something stupid like that.
Yeah, that was the play, right? Like, yeah, they're trying to cancel us. These damn libs. Let's own the libs and buy the Amico.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I remember making a video theorizing that.
That might have worked.
The main channel was part of the new Deep Dive series, as well as on the Arcade Heroes YouTube channel too. Now, this video is interesting because, well, we're almost a year behind the original release date by this point, and it's apparently due to chip shortages. With that in mind, you would expect the games to be completely finished, right? Well...
Wrong.
Not quite.
Here's the placeholder text.
There was placeholder text, as we see on the screen, but there was also other things in the video where some of the language was supposed to be in English, and then it was in like German because it wasn't all translated correctly.
Right.
In one of the games. If you think it looks familiar, then that's probably because it's from Star Fox, aka Lilac Wars. It's literally the exact same text.
Do a barrel roll.
Time for another office tour. This one is in yet another brand new office over in Utah.
The Utah office was open so they could play test the Amico, which is the exact same thing that DJC and Mike Mullis are doing. So I'm confused again.
Exactly. Look how big that dang thing is, too. Like
that's what she said.
So unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't think they actually, I think they just rented it out for like the day.
Had a room or something.
No, I think they just rented it out for the day for the tour.
For the video, purely for the video.
Because I remember there was like a bunch of stuff that like didn't look open, and it was like cabinets and shit closed.
Is the electricity even turned on, or is that all just lights coming in from the windows? Did they literally just break in? Nah, there's some lights. There's some lights back there, it looks like. But
Nick Richards is on the other side of the building getting estimates from the lady showing it off, from the realtor, and Tommy's like, "Quick, turn the camera on. We're gonna shoot this video real quick. Distract her, Nick."
Wouldn't surprise me.
They waited until security wasn't looking and ran in.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobster says it's reminding him of the G4 TV compound. Yeah. That's exactly why they had the big offices, so they can impress investors and say, look, we're a real company, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're real. It's weird that he didn't hire a corn actress. That's what game industry did. Yeah, they did. Not this one. They needed a family-friendly actress. With all the over 40-year-old men, they figured if they hired a corn actress, someone would have recognized her. Like, no.
Yeah.
That would have been obvious. He's in a prison foreshadowing much.
Come on, how many offices does one unreleased system need? And then
5. They had 5 offices. Germany, Middle East, the Utah office, the San Francisco. Well, there was a San Francisco and a Orange County office.
Yeah, okay.
Then you have the 10th of October, 2021, the day that John and Tommy finally showed off the physical products. We discovered that the packaging is 100% recyclable. We discovered that each collector set comes with a coin, a lenticular card with info on the back, and most important of all is a plastic credit card-sized RFID card that when tapped onto the console will download your copy of the game to your system, and then you become the owner of said game, as the game, as previously discovered, is an NFT. In other words, you can then sell your digital download to someone else.
Except for that we found out you couldn't do any of that because there's literally nothing but a URL on the card.
Right. That was fun too, finding that out.
We never found out. We did find out. I found out the address to the San Francisco office. It was like a juice bar.
Was it really?
Yeah. Hallmark gift card size. They were. It's crazy that the sheer number of offices didn't tip more people off. Well, here's the thing. Like the Middle East office, I'm sure was just a P.O. box. The Germany office was definitely a P.O. box. The San Francisco office, I think, was a P.O. box inside like a mall facility. That just happened to be there was a juice bar at that location. I think they only had 2 real offices, and that was the Utah and the Orange County one.
Yeah.
Bobster says, I want to get the VIP tickets to the Chili VGL concert so I could be one of the last people to see him before he risks going the way of John McAfee.
I know, dude. It would be great. This might be our last chance to see him. Too bad it's so far away.
Do you know what is funny that Bobster mentions Video Games Live?
What's that?
Do you remember was it? I must say a month, maybe 2 months ago, when someone had gotten the Video Games Live account. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you want to see the current version of Video Games Live?
Yeah, sure.
On Twitter. Here we go. Let's go over to Video Games Live. If you want to follow Video Games Live on Twitter, account suspended. Amico. I don't know why the account got suspended because the troll had got it, but I think Tommy had gotten it back. But now it's suspended currently. Poor Tommy.
Can't do anything right.
Just like TommyTellerico.com was bought by a troll. You can't make this stuff up. Nolster says the Santa Ana office was a juice bar HQ before Amico rented it. Okay. Video games live on Twitter. Video games live on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Vito joke.
And then I decided to reach out to Tommy Talamico on this very day, someone I have never spoken to before, and ask him if he would be willing to send me these games in exchange for a review. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay, we're done.
He got egg on his face.
And then I decided to reach out to Tommy Talamico on this.
All right, so you could see right here on the floor. There's an egg. Hammock Man, you lost your logo.
So it was take 2. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said you lost your avatar.
Oh, it's showing it on mine.
No, you popped. I heard you pop in and out. It went boop. So.
I switched from I was on like the mobile to the house internet because it was like I was getting real choppy watching the video. I could barely see. It was getting like 3 frames every 10 seconds. You mean to hop out and try to hop back in?
I mean, it's up to you if you want to stay with no avatar or.
Here, I'll just hop back out. Hang on.
All right. Yeah, so DJ Slopes revealed that was in fact take 2. The first one they threw didn't work right. So his wife just smashes it into his face. Nolster says someone hijacked the VGL Twitter and was posting tweets from Tommy talking about his non-sexual foot fetish and asking his crew to send him feet pics, among other things that were tweeted out that were really, really sus. Hey, he's back.
Hey.
All right.
This very day, someone I have never spoken to before, and asked him if he would be willing to send me these games in exchange for a review. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay, we're done. Why didn't I change my trousers? Jokes aside, I didn't even know 10% of what was going on by this point. I too wanted a cartridge, a CD, whatever. But I got to admit, the Amico seriously intrigued me. I've always been fascinated by wacky technology. I wouldn't want this sort of thing to happen to any of the main 3, but this weird physical media stuff was so alluring to me. It just made the Amico even more obscure, and I love obscure systems. And it's because of this, on this very day, I decided to reach out to Tommy.
Hey, Tommy. Dan here from Slopes Game Room. As you know, I have the Amico on pre-order via Fig. I wanted to ask you if you would be willing for me to do an unboxing of your games on the channel. 10/10/2021, man. That was when it was supposed to release.
He was a fan of my content, mentioning the Earthworm Jim Complete History video. I'd made several.
He was a fan of your content? I don't think he was, Slopes. I don't.
He researched.
Yeah, we've every time we talk to Slopes, it's like I can see his heart breaking a little. It's like, it's like it's like a constant stream of us being like Santa Claus isn't real, and Slopes just like stop. But I honestly, I don't think he was a fan of your work. I don't think he even knew who you were, to be honest. I do think that when you reached out to him, he looked you up and then was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a fan of your."
Pretended to be. Yeah, that's totally his style.
Because 100%, when he reached out to me for my interview, he was like, "Yeah, Chicago's awesome. You ever been to this restaurant? You're a big Bears fan, aren't you? Go Bears! Bears are awesome. You won the Super Bowl or in whatever the hell it is, in '84, whatever the fuck.
1985.
85. I was close. I'm not a sports guy. Go sports, yay!
Yeah.
Right, so you're like, no, Tommy, I don't like sports. I don't like cars, and I don't go downtown to eat at fancy restaurants.
He tried.
He did. He did. It was an A for effort.
Years prior, and almost instantly, we started getting on, working out how we could work together. He stated that he wanted to come to the UK so that my family could play the Amico.
Oh man! Right now, Pete's throwing his Evercade at the wall. You didn't tell me you wanted to come to Canada, Tommy. Why were you going to fucking England? You were gonna let Slopes play the Amico? What about me? I shield.
Slopes is a way bigger influence, so that's all Tommy cares about.
Poor Pete. Pete's never got to play the Amico. He was so excited for it.
Pete was the original like mega shill too.
He was. He was family friendly, even though he was an asshole behind the scenes. But he was family friendly on YouTube. Poor
Pete.
Poor Pack Opening Pro. Poor Ever Canadian.
Did Pack Opening Pro die? Did that go away?
I think it might have went away. He wasn't a pro at opening packs. He opened every box, and then he went on to opening packs.
We tend to have game nights quite often, playing on systems like the Wii U and the Switch, and therefore we were perfect for the Amico. Needless to say, the friendship blossomed behind the scenes from that point.
Wait a minute. Did he say that we played on the Switch? You couldn't have played games on the Switch. There's no couch co-op on the Switch, Slopes.
Right.
And
also, I have to say, I know this is not related to anything that's in the video as far as content, other than it's the lady's hand, and this always annoys me. I don't know who started this trend of like women paint all their nails one color and then the ring finger a different color. This annoys the shit out of me.
I've never even seen that.
Yeah, it's this thing now. You see how they're all white and then this one's blue?
Yeah, yeah, that's weird.
I see that a lot now. And it annoys the shit out of me.
I have never noticed it. I'll probably notice it now.
You're going to look at like your wife's hand's going to be like that. Like, what the fuck? Have an autistic day? It is. That's probably why it bothers me. Yo,
that should be the center one.
No, because it shouldn't be. They all should be the same. It's like,
or at least if it was a pattern. It's a weird one to have like that ring finger is like, I could at least see it if it was like the middle one. It would kind of make sense because you'd have two whites on one side and two on the other. But
it's called a trend. Also, it's kind of weird to hear you say two whites on one side without context.
Two white fingernails. Come on. Two white fingernails.
But I think it is my autism. Also, I heard that. You think I didn't hear that, Hammock? I heard that. Yeah, I think it is my autism because it's like, no. It'd be like my OCD maybe. Imagine seeing a bunch of books, right? Like you see like 4 books. Like, no, 3 books, like a blue book, a blue book, a blue book, and then a red book, and then a blue book. And you'd be like, no. Like, why is that red book in there? Like,
I can handle it if it's like if the pattern makes sense. Like if it was in the center of it.
Potion says, I like the ring finger color idea. It shows who's single and ready to mingle. Well, I've never really had a problem with mingling with not single women.
Is that what they do? They only do it if they're single?
I have
or they
no
do it
idea.
if they're married?
You want us to look it up?
No, not worth it.
No.
I've been out of the game for so long. I don't pay attention anymore to even if a girl's got a ring on or not.
Yeah, but what if your wife? Now you'll know. You're like, wait a minute. Why she got that? What's going on?
She doesn't ever paint her fingernails. She only paints her toenails.
Why would you do that? That means she wants people to see her feet, and that's not cool. So weird. Damn it. Let's see.
You're looking it up, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I have to. It's an accent nail. Apparently, it doesn't mean anything.
An accent.
Apparently, men are the ones who have assigned all these weird meanings to it.
Of course.
Yeah. This doesn't mean anything. It's to accent the other nails to make them pop.
For the most part, we talked about stuff like music, as I showed him a few remixes and mashups I was working on at the time. But I would be lying if I didn't tell you that, yes, he did warn me about the haters.
Specifically that frog guy. Yeah. One fingernail for every life you've taken.
Oh, no.
56 says we need an alpha male to make sense of this all. If an alpha male knows why it's, I wouldn't call him an alpha male anymore, right? Because I don't know women's fashion. That's why I'm confused. Men shouldn't know about.
An alpha male wouldn't even need to know. Alpha male will just get whatever he wants.
Let's watch Slotham's pure video again. He would know. Potion says too much baggage with married women. She better be damn single. Well, I mean, you're not marrying her because she's already married.
I agree, Potion. I agree.
No. Married women, much easier. You don't have to worry about taking them out.
They just want to hook up and run.
You just want to hook up. You don't got to worry about taking them out. You don't got to worry about calling them. You don't got to remember anything. You don't got to ask them how their day is. None of that shit. None of it.
Until the husband shows up and he's freaking beast.
No, that's why. Pro tip for those of you who might want to mess around with married ladies: always keep a work. What do they call it? A little jumper. So you could be the gardener, or you could be, hey, I just came over to check the cable. Never take your shoes off when you fool around with a woman. Never take your shoes off. So if you do hear somebody coming in, you can run. You don't need pants to run, but you probably could use some shoes.
Jeez.
You have to worry about bad stuff. No, you don't. You have to have good ears. I have good ears. You got to listen. You're the one who scared me at the Uno college. With your wife.
I was.
Tommy says married women, some nutcase might follow you around and bust into the room. So there's so many hidden cameras nowadays. I guess. Yeah, see, no one knows. I just want to fuck you. No kissing and hugging because you got a husband that loves you. Don't you need your quality time?
You're right.
Tony exposed. They're gonna clip this. Tony's fucking around with married women. He's out there scamming people.
Exposed.
Well, this took a turn. Yes, it did. Tip for the 21st century, guys: always act like there's a camera everywhere. Here's another tip. If you're the one who's cheating on your significant other, buy a burner phone that you keep at work in your work locker, and only give the burner phone number out to your side chick. That way your side chick never accidentally calls you on your regular phone, and then your wife can never find, because when your wife looks at the phone calls and the phone bill, your side chick is never going to show up on there because it's on the burner phone. That has minutes that you pay for with cash. And always use cash. Never use a credit card. Always use cash. See, also, just so you know, you have to tell your wife that sometimes you gamble on the football game, right? Even if you don't gamble, if you never gamble, you just tell them that you gamble sometimes with the guys at work. That way, when you need some money, you just tell them that you lost some money at a football game, and then you use that cash to take your side piece out. And then she just thinks that you spent money paying a coworker back for a gambling debt.
See, I just choose the route of being honest and staying faithful, so I don't have to remember all that. I can't handle. I've told my wife before, it's like, look, I can't even. I can't handle more than one woman. Like, one is enough, dude. Like, having to deal with all their crap. I just never understood that, like, how I could have more than one woman in my life. It's like, dude, I could barely deal with her bullshit, let alone somebody else, especially when they're like, I need to see you. I need more time. Like, oh, my God.
I don't need all that.
Can't do it, dude.
Michael Town says, low old school Daz Dillinger noise. That's Tate University. Yeah, it's a free of charge. I don't even charge you for this advice. The wife would love a husband with a gambling problem. No, I mean, you just tell her. You don't always lose, right? It's just every once in a while. You plant the seed. It's about planting a seed in their mind. So when you do have less money, or you don't have money, or you've spent your cash, and they're like, what happened to the money you had? Oh yeah, I made a bet with a guy at work on the football game and I lost.
That is a good one.
Okay, come on, you always got to stay one step ahead. You always have to plan your contingencies. Is all I'm saying. Not that I'm recommending it, not infidelity advice. Ends, don't blame me.
Kids are getting an education today.
Now, I'm not going to be showing you guys these messages, and I'm not going to be showing you the voice clips between me and Tommy because that's not the kind of guy I am. All I will say is that with him being a fan of mine and me being a fan of his,
man, rip it off, rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think he was a fan of you.
I don't think he is either. I think he's just an asshole that makes you believe. He's so good at making you believe.
Michael Towns, Tony slowly evolving into Dennis Reynolds from Always Sunny. Slow but sure. Sorry, wife. I thought I could handle just a little bit of meth. Turns out I like you very much and we're broke. Tale as old as time. Yeah. I mean, just a little meth. I mean, I don't do crack, only on the weekend.
it was very, very easy for him to take me down a path that he and so many others were already on. However, I still had my channel and its reputation to look after, and that was the most important thing. These physical games, as much as they intrigued me and, dare I say it, excited me, I at least knew that it was in the minority with that mindset. Because of this, I decided to contact several other UK YouTubers who had, quite frankly, all been left in the dark a little regarding this.
Look, it's Top Hat Gaming
Ashens.
Man, Lady Decade.
I like Ashens. You ever watch Ashens?
I've not. I think Did You Know Gaming is the only person I know in this whole lineup that I've watched.
He's funny. Ashens is great.
A lot of people
like reviews a bunch of crap. His best stuff is that he does. It's like he'll go to the dollar store, which is over there. I can't remember what it's called. It's called something else. And especially around the holidays and stuff, he'll go and like get all of the like Valentine's Day crap or Easter and like show how janky and bad it is. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's another.
He's been doing the same stuff. He's been doing the same style for like a decade, and it's still good.
Yeah, and speaking of Valentine's Day, another pro tip: when your side piece gives you something,
oh Lord,
make sure that your side piece gives you like stuffed animals, and then you take that and you give that to your main piece. It's called recycling.
Oh my God.
That's how you do it.
Hey, get me a dozen roses this year for Valentine's Day.
No. What you do is you actually just take a rose from someone's garden because it's going to bloom a lot better and it looks more. You wrap that up as a single rose and like I only bought you a single rose because a dozen. Anybody can get a dozen, but this one special rose that I picked out just for you, hand-picked. But you gotta say it sincerely. You gotta look them in the eye.
Turn your weakness into a strength. That's about being cheap. Getting the one.
Cheating sounds like work. Man. Screw that. It's not. Once you get it down. Not that I know anything about this. I'm just saying. It's talking crazy. Hopefully, Sidekick Max never watches this.
Yeah, this is all hypothetical here.
Hypothetical. Here's a tip: don't get married and move to California and fuck all the women you want with no problem. I mean, you could do that. That's a thing. If you want to be that kind of guy.
I like being married. Being married makes me a better guy. My wife has made me a better person, but I found a good one. I got lucky.
Michael Town says we're not getting part 6 after Tony's harem learns about each other.
Yeah. We're going to hear him tearing him apart.
Hell yeah. In a good way.
Yeah.
You see, in Evils, it's 2 to 8, so it's an audience I can handle. Oh, I'm sorry. You did notice, though, we're at 41, so make sure you drop a like. So you can get more of this quality content. And you can hear the sweet sounds of my voice dripping with honey in your ears, bringing you all the audio-gasms you can handle.
All I asked was for their honest opinion and to keep it around about 2 minutes or less, based on nothing but Intellivision's initial reveal video. In my eyes, this would level the playing field somewhat, and most importantly, show that this isn't some paid sponsorship. It's honest opinions from people who I, at the time, completely trusted. And the end result was pretty much
Everybody's shitting on it.
nothing but negativity.
Everyone
Even
shit on it, dude. It was great.
Yeah.
I, easily the most positive of the bunch, saw flaws in what I was holding, resulting in a video that was almost entirely negative. I remember once I recorded the footage, I was editing it.
I never understood this. So rigid force redux enhanced. Isn't the original game called Rigid Force Alpha?
I think so, yeah. What do you the fact that they changed it, or
No, because if it's shouldn't it just be Rigid Force Redux? It'd be like if I took Legend of Zelda, and I'm going to put it on my console, right? And I called it Legend of Zelda Redone Enhanced. Like, so is it redone or is it enhanced? It can't be both.
Yeah, it's redundant. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Right?
Redone and enhanced with improved flavor.
So like Rigid Force Alpha and then like Rigid Force Redux. Like, oh, it's a redo. Like that makes sense. Or like a remaster, right?
Yeah.
Like could you imagine that? Like you're gonna get Last of Us remastered, enhanced. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
But we didn't even get the remaster. Like at least if there was already like a Rigid Force Redux, and then this was like the enhanced version of that, maybe. But like we skipped the whole like version of the game. We just went straight to the
we did
to the enhanced version. They enhanced the Redux. That's what I'm saying. Oh, on Switch it's Redux. Okay, so that's what it is. So on Steam it's Alpha, and then on Switch it's Redux. So then this is the enhanced of the Redux. Got it.
Because it has to be different for the Amico. It has to be enhanced.
Yeah. Rigid Force is my porn name. I heard author Weiss, the author, was very upset.
Yes.
Yes, he was. He wanted them free.
That was the end of his shilling. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when he snapped
I
out.
don't think he really made any more. Yeah.
Too rigid, too force.
All together, and Tommy would just out of the blue call me up. We would have these big long conversations about, again, music and games or whatever, but he finally started to ask me about all of my YouTuber friends' opinions. Looking back, it's obvious he was on a mission trying to find out what the negative comments were, and then
that right there, the brain duel being yellow, like, oh, it drives me nuts. Also, for a system that's not trying to be a retro system, the box art was all retro. The cards look like old retro cartridges.
They're Intellivision cartridges. They're exactly like Intellivision cartridges.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
which Intellivision cartridges are the worst, dude. Like, you cannot stack them up on a shelf well. They don't stack well, like an Atari game.
Why? Because they're not square. Because they got like the.
Yeah, they're just not shaped right. They don't stack as well.
What's up, Action Man Gaming? If that is your real name.
High rigid.
Is that the real Action Man Gaming?
Potentially stopping them from getting out. I told him before it went live that it was a mostly negative response, but I refused to tell him the details until the video went live. Either way, and even though this was never my aim, I made no friends by uploading that video. I still keep the video up because, for me, at the time, it was 100% truthful from every angle.
Well, you should always keep a video up. I don't think you should ever really take a video down unless, like, you completely fucked up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you were just like
I get it.
Completely. Like, if you accuse somebody, like the Pro Jared stuff from Smash, like when he was like, Pro Jared's a terrible person, like, that should probably be taken down because, no, that's not true. Like, we found out that that was a lie. You jumped the gun on that, right? But like this, like, or like, hey, I liked something. You know, this was my opinion at the time. No, you shouldn't take it down because it's still your opinion at the time. You should still stand by it.
Because I didn't know that the Pro Jared stuff turned out to be a lie. I still was under the impression that the original stuff was true. I'm just learning that for the first time now.
Well, I'll get into what it is, but real quick, he says, "I bet if you scan those barcodes, it comes up as sack potatoes." No, it's literally just the website. Oh, you mean, or you
Yeah.
talking barcodes on the boxes? Yeah, those are probably fake. You know what I hate? I hate when YouTube doesn't load the fucking chat on things. You have that problem with YouTube?
When it doesn't load the chat?
Yeah, sometimes like when I go to a YouTube video, like you know how it's got the chat here on the side? Like when I go to
Yeah.
YouTube, the chat like doesn't load, like it's there and it's just a blank box. I'm like, I know this.
Oh, no, I don't have that problem.
Oh, that's Murray? That's who that is? All right.
But of course, this wasn't the end of my stint with Tommy because, well, what have I just done? I have just uploaded a video talking negatively about this system. I'm sure you guys can work out what's going to happen next. But
it's DJC Game Studio.
Before then, DJC Game Studios, Amico's biggest fan by far, releases a rap album spitting bars as to why he loves the Amicos.
And I'll still say this. As much as I dislike DJC, as much as I think that DJC is a scumbag in a party to the scammy nature of the Amico, I want my Amico still a banger. I still think that's a good song. I like it. I think it's
don't
good.
like it.
I like the beat. It's the beat. Not necessarily the words.
It's not my style at all.
He sounds like ICP. I'm a big fan of ICP.
It's too generic for me. It's just too like generic. It sounds like anything else. But, you know, if you like it, that's cool.
You don't like that Detroit white rapper sound?
No, dude. I've never really been into rap.
Oh, he made a country album. You would have been all over it, huh?
Fuck no. I hate country even worse. I like some rap. I like older rap. I can't stand new rap, but I like the older stuff.
What's your favorite rapper?
Probably Dr. Dre.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
All right. You're legit.
So much. Oh, and by the way, guys, did you know there are also a whole heap of hater Amico songs out there too?
Circulating, you're all still planning. I'm spending other people's money and scamming. Who award not to do this, but you inverted the controller on IR this. Future, money go in the hands of Tommy Rico.
That's also a banger. I do like that song. Hey, what's up, Slopes? Shouldn't you be asleep?
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. there.
Oh shit! Hammocks, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heady. All over his sweater, his mom's spaghetti.
I can deal with some Eminem, but I was really big into punk, and then I got into a lot of dance music, techno, like Chemical Brothers, Underworld, stuff like that is what I was into.
Like the salmon dance?
Yes, the salmon dance. I don't really like that song, but
sure. I like that song. That's like the only one I like from.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay, but I like the harder stuff.
This whole situation is so insane. Can anyone here give me an example of any other system that has a divide this strong and hardcore before its release? It's absolutely bonkers.
I don't think any other system, even after release, I don't think there's like Sega albums battling Nintendo albums, Xbox albums versus PlayStation.
It's really weird.
It is. Thought I'd check and see what point you were at. Yeah, we got pretty far. We're at 3:20. We started off at 3, so we made it like 20 minutes into the video.
20 minutes. Well, there will be a part 6, Justy.
No, we made it more than 20 minutes. Where did we start? We didn't start at 3 hours, did we?
It wasn't much beyond earlier than that. No,
shit, we did. We started at 3:03. Damn it.
We
made
17 long tangent about Uno and Monopoly and all that junk, and
17 minutes in the video. Jeez. 2-hour live stream for 17 minutes worth of videos.
Hell yeah.
Eating Pace says originally the carts would have yellow label if it's edutainment. I understand that. I understand that.
That's true.
But that was the only one, and they weren't going to make any other. Right? There was no other physical media coming out ever. That was it.
Ever.
Never.
There might have been more.
There was never. Those don't even work. So they should have just made that all the same color. My OCD is just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's been Smash JT's face for 2 hours.
The squirrel.
Oh, shit. Oreo Cakesters came back? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I saw those.
The fantastic
Chilling
YouTuber.
in the hot tub.
Hell yeah. I think that song debuted on our show, didn't it?
Did it? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure Tommy's like, yeah, I got a new song, and we played it for the first time.
I like this Genovi video.
It was a good.
It. He brought some class into the argument.
He brought some class. Yeah, we were all just slinging mud, and here comes Genovi, all serious, like quiet, and just like all nice about it.
Genovi releases a video talking about how he is disappointed in the physical media, and then the 6th of November, the day that heavily injected me.
It was funny because Genovi's like the nicest, just kindest person I've ever seen on YouTube.
And they attacked him.
Yeah, they like came at him so hard, and like, oh, he's fucking liar, he's a shill, fucking he hates Tommy. He's like, dude, like Genovi's respected in the community. People like him. He's like never causes trouble. He's just like this nice guy. Yeah, it was weird.
And my channel into the world of the Intellivision Amico. Now, of course, the interview I uploaded onto the second channel at this point was pre-recorded, something I did about a week earlier, in what I was expecting to be a 2-hour interview split into 2 parts, which most definitely didn't happen.
It ended up being 3 hours and 58 minutes. It was almost a 4-hour experience.
I could tell, and I remember I made a video about it, like Slopes' face at the end of that. He just looked like he was so done with Tommy.
We all were. Well, because the first part was pre-recorded and it was just about Tommy, and then the second part was live, remember?
Yeah.
Of course, the original reason I got into this machine in the first place was because of Shiny Entertainment, the old 90s studio responsible for a big chunk of my childhood, and Tommy and Co were members of the Amico. That was enough to put down a pre-order, and as I am primarily a retro gaming YouTube channel, I decided to make the first hour of the interview all about his past, and then the second hour all about Amico. But of course, both segments got expanded on and then some. Now, before we get into this part of the video, let me say straight off the bat, I'm sorry. A big, fat sorry to everyone.
Oh, we're going to slow this part down to regular speed.
You see, in my mind, knowing what I did back then, this was the right way to go about doing things. I knew he had done a lot of interviews, but I hadn't even watched 1% of what was out there. There was just too much, and I wouldn't even wish that on my own worst enemy. Regarding part 1, the history section, I stand by that. Again, knowing what I knew then, he deserved respect. And just like everyone else I've ever spoken to over the years to create my history videos, I wanted to treat him with the same level of respect that I would anyone else.
Oh my God, he's officially amazing, guys.
Of course, if I knew a lot of what he had said was fabricated, then I still would have treated him with respect. But of course, I would have definitely pushed back.
So once
I know some people had issue with Slope saying that, like, oh, even if I knew he was a liar, I'd still treat him with respect. That was all pre-recorded? Those questions were submitted. That's what it was. It was pre-recorded, but it was like a premiere, wasn't it? Because there was a chat.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a premiere.
Some people were like, oh, we shouldn't have treated, if you knew he was a liar, you shouldn't treat him with respect. But Tommy's still a person. Tommy's still a human being, right? Just because someone's a liar doesn't mean you Yeah, fuck you, you piece of shit. You got to answer for your crimes. Like, no, like you could still
Well,
be
he
like,
didn't. I mean, like Slope said, he didn't know. He only watched like 1% of it, so he didn't know.
no.
You
He
know, I
said,
mean, he's
but he said even if he did know, I would still have treated Tommy with respect.
right, sure.
I'm just
But
saying,
maybe
like,
he would have been a little bit more skeptical of him. He would have treated with respect, but maybe he would have been a little bit more skeptical of that he's BSing him. Because, like you said, you don't expect someone, especially someone like this that's been in the industry, that's been doing this. It's not as widely known that how crazy he is and how much BS he was spouting. Like, you don't expect somebody to just be lying to you
constantly.
Literally on everything, anything that he says. And like I've said, it reminds me of my friend Nathan. He's just like that. Like, would lie about the dumbest shit. And we would say, why are you lying, Nathan? You don't have to lie. Like, we would catch him in lies.
It's just weird.
Once my contract was coming to an end was around the same time that Retro's projects were all getting canceled except for Metroid. And they had an internal audio department.
See, none of that. Knowing what I know, right? Knowing what I know, none of what Tommy says here makes any fucking sense, right? Because Tommy because he says he's basically saying the reason that he stopped working on Metroid Prime was because Retro's their other projects get canceled, right? All the staff gets moved on to Metroid Prime. They have their own in-house audio department, so they don't need Tommy anymore. And conveniently, his contract was up around the same time, so they just don't renew his contract, right? That's Tommy's story. But he also says that he's worked hand in hand with Miyamoto for 5 years, despite Retro only being open for 4 years at the time, right? When Metroid Prime gets released, Retro was only open for 4 years. So Tommy worked with Miyamoto for a year prior to Retro even being opened. They decided to work on Metroid Prime, and then they're like, hey, we should get this studio called Retro to start working on the game that me and you have been doing for a year. And Miyamoto's so impressed, remember, that he asked for Tommy specifically, and he said, Tommy-san, I want you to make the sounds, and then we will design our weapons around your sounds. And everyone in the office, everyone in the office was amazed. They said, "Oh my God, Miyamoto speaks English?" And Miyamoto's like, "No, I only speak that sentence, and then this one explaining that I speak that sentence. Then everything else is Japanese." It was really weird. Like he learned those two specific sentences to let Tommy know what he needed done.
Yes.
So with that said,
him that much.
He loves him that much. With that said, how do you go from that, right? Like, if that was the case, even if they closed down the other things, moved everybody on that project, if you were the handpicked guy, if you were the Miyamoto man, right? If you were the buddy, the pal, the one who was getting the job done, why would they get rid of you? When they just say, no, we need to keep him on because that's the guy that's making me. Miyamoto's the one who closed those other projects down, by the way, right? It didn't just happen like on accident. Miyamoto specifically went to Retro and said, stop working on that other shit, focus on Metroid Prime. The reason that Retro had Metroid Prime in the first place is because Miyamoto didn't even like Metroid Prime, and he was like, well, just give it to some outside studio because fuck that shit. We don't care about Metroid Prime or Metroid. Right? So with that said, again, if Miyamoto had handpicked Tommy in any way, shape, or form, unless Tommy submitted work that was shit, there's no way Miyamoto would have taken him off the project. There's no way Retro, knowing how batshit insane Miyamoto can be, right? Because Miyamoto, remember, he gave them those 4 projects and then took them away on a whim, okay? Knowing that, there's no way they would say, hey, this is the guy that Miyamoto likes. Why would we get rid of him? They wouldn't. They would keep him on there. But we all know from Miyamoto's mouth itself that when he saw Metroid Prime, the work that was submitted that was going to be at Space World 2001, when he saw the footage and he heard it, the audio, it was so terrible that he wasn't even going to show it at Space World. That's how bad it was. That's how disappointed in the project he was.
Isn't that the only place that didn't they end up showing it though? Isn't that like the only time where Tommy's sound effects was in that part, but in the game there's nothing. Yeah.
In the game, when Clark Wen took over, Clark Wen is on record saying there was only 2 sound effects, and he, quote, more or less kept them in there, which probably means that either he didn't use them and they're still in the game files technically, or he did a lot of tweaking so that they don't sound anything like the original.
It's such a minor sound, like it doesn't even matter. And Tommy spins that into like this massive, great story, like the biggest fail ever. How do you make that into something so great that him and Miyamoto are buddies? Only Tommy. You got to give him credit that he can sure spin a tale.
Yeah, him and Miyamoto-san working hand in hand. So yeah.
Had taken over for Metroid.
Oh, and remember Tommy's proof that he worked on Metroid Prime. Do you know what Tommy's proof was?
No.
Tommy claims that someone from Retro had reached out to him and said, "Hey, Tommy, we're moving files from one server to another or something, and we have a bunch of these files that have your name on them. Tommy Tallarico Studios, do you know anything about these? And it turns out, those were the Metroid Prime files, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Tommy's never showed them. Retro's never showed them. And the email that was sent to Tommy, he never showed that either. What he showed was a copy-paste. He literally copied and then pasted the words from the email onto a web page and said, "That's proof. Look, see the web page says the thing that I just said it said. So that means that's an email that's real."
Oh my god!
Like he didn't even buy. There wasn't even like a Photoshop or like maybe it's not real or maybe no. It was literally like just words on a web page that he claims that that's what the email said. So it's totally real, guys. Totally legit.
It makes you wonder, like, what things that we just haven't discovered, or you would never even think that he's just completely lied about, or just. There's so much that it could potentially be.
Everything
is suspect.
Is his name Tommy? I'm not sure at this point.
Right.
Tommy, if you're listening, I mean, of course you're listening. What are you doing, mate? Yes, you was a part of Metroid Prime, but you weren't a key player. You didn't do all of the music, and I struggle to believe that you worked on it for 5 years.
Again, he couldn't have worked on it for 5 years.
Yeah.
The end result is that a very small amount of you or your team's work is in this game, but to many, that would still be enough. You know how famous actors that don't win an award still talk about how they were nominated? The reason they do this is because it's still an incredible achievement to get that far. Having Tommy Tallarico Studios working on Metroid Prime in its early days is one of those incredible achievements in its own right, and you would have got nothing but praise if you left it at that. Sadly, the push to say you did more than you actually did completely wipes away from the importance and the achievements that you do deserve. And if everything that has come out over the last few years is true, then sadly, it's all your own fault. You have had an incredible career. It's time to be truthful and stop making it sound better than it is, because it's really sad to say, but you are ruining your legacy, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. And just for the record.
Well said, Slopes.
For the record, Retro Studios was founded September 1998, and Metroid Prime came out in November 2002. So 4 years.
4 years.
The studio was only in existence for 4 years when Metroid Prime was released. So how Tommy worked on Metroid Prime for 5 years, I don't know.
See, 4 years doesn't sound good enough, so he's got to up it to that.
But it's the truth.
Can be proved. I know, but it's not. That's how it sounds in his mind. It's like 4 is not enough. 5. 5's got a nice ring to it. Let's do 5.
just weird.
Sad. It's very sad.
It's painful for me to say all of this, but hopefully you take it on board. Now, that's enough bashing for me because it's time to turn that camera around.
Hold on.
That's enough bashing for me because it's time to turn that camera around.
I wanted to see if he hid anything back there. Slope says he was hiding stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's my turn. I fucked up. It took a long time to see where I went wrong here. In my eyes, I always knew that this Amico scandal video was going to be released, whether the Amico was a roaring success that completely dominated the world market, or, well, how it's turned out. The lead up to this system's release is just way too interesting not to cover, no matter how it turned out. And in my mind, the best way to get that video created was to inject myself into the story. And boy, oh boy, did that wish come true. In the Tommy Tallarico Part 2 interview, for the most part, the content was mostly the same. For Tommy, it was so incredibly formulaic by this point. Kick off at the haters, drop a few exclusives that are not really exclusives, and skate around any question in a way that honestly made it hard for me to respond.
There's encrypted data on there that a RFID reader won't see.
Okay. So people are asking in the chat, how is it encrypted?
See? No, he said people are asking in the chat.
Yeah.
How is that pre-recorded?
Oh, yeah. Maybe was it his like maybe it was like his like Patreons or something. It was probably his Patreon. Like it was probably like members, channel members or something. It probably wasn't like live to everyone.
Second interview? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I said, and he said no. That both.
Oh, is this a second interview? Oh, okay. This one may not have been pre-recorded then.
No, but it was the second interview, but it was a two-part thing. Remember, it was the first part was the career, and the second part was the Amico thing.
Michael Town says it was pre-recorded with a handful of Discord folks in there.
Ah, okay. That's what probably threw me off because I'm like, I remember him saying that there was people in the chat.
Yeah, I remember that too. Tommy
confused.
looks so orange here. Like an Oompa Loompa.
That's what I said. I said Tommy thinks that he's Willy Wonka, but he's really just a Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. What are you clicking around on back there?
That's a silly question. I'm not going to answer that question. How is it encrypted?
No, but I think okay. Putting it like this, so basically what they're saying is that I tap this on my system. There's something in there that's more than just Intellivision.com/RFID/biplanes ? I equals. There's something else. There's something else that's encrypting it. What can you explain what it is that's more than just that URL?
No, I wouldn't say that publicly. No, there's. I guess I don't understand. There's encrypted data that is proprietary Intellivision data, security data.
Okay, it's a security thing. You don't want to divulge it. Yeah. Okay, no, that's completely fair enough. I mean, you wouldn't ask the same thing of Nintendo or what have you, but it's just to clarify, you are saying that there is something on this card that the RFID readers are not picking up.
100%. And again, people.
That's 100% a lie.
100%.
How? Okay, so you have an RFID reader that reads RFID transmissions, right? But my card, which is going to be tapped on an RFID reader on the Amico, has data that the RFID reader can't read. So then how would it work?
Any sense?
So is there a second reader? There's an RFID, but we also have an RFIG reader. No, it makes no fucking sense in any way, shape, or form. There's no encrypted data. There's nothing. What you should have said was, hey, it has a unique URL number at the end of it or something that when you tap it on it, it knows your console, right? So it assigns your console number to the URL, and then that is what locks it to the blockchain, right?
Right.
Like yes, that has a URL to the game, And then what the system does is then it then adds the system number, the specific number that the system is, to the URL to create your NFT, right? And I just pulled that out of my ass, and I don't even know if that's a thing that's possible, but it sounds good, right?
Yeah, sure.
Tommy was biased towards Nintendo GameCube games when he didn't get the gig at working on Metroid Prime. Yeah, that's why he gave Smash Melee a 2.5. Hopes and prayers and security. If no one buys the games, you don't have to worry about stealing them, right? All you have to do is Google how RFID cards work, and everything Tommy says here is a lie. Yeah. See, Michael Townsend says, think that was part 1. Part 2 was public from memory. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure part 2 was public. That he interviewed Tommy, and it was supposed to be that he was going to do it all at once, but he didn't. He did the one, and then the second part was the Amico part was public. Because I remember being in the chat, and I remember other people being in the chat and questions being asked.
I don't remember it. I thought it was like a premiere though, because I don't remember that our questions could be asked because they were saying it wasn't live. That's what I remember. I remember there being a chat, but I don't think we could ask questions.
What was that? Say that again?
There was a chat because there was a premiere. We were in a chat watching it, but we couldn't ask questions because it wasn't live.
I don't know. I think it was.
Well, you should be able to bring the video back up, and the live chat will be there, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at the live chat right now. There is a live chat there.
I think it was a premiere. Because I remember people were trying to ask questions, and I think Slopes was in there. He said it's not live.
Let me see. I'm looking right now. Maybe it's not live. I don't know. Oh, Days Gamer or 30 years of hammock living. Relic Gamer was calling you out in the chat there, apparently.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that fighting with him in that.
Whatever.
People are calling me a liar and this.
It's because you are a liar, Tommy. He says, I will send you the unedited interviews. I recorded them the same day, one after another, both pre-recorded with Patreons watching it live. There you go.
Told you.
That's all right. You don't have. You could send me, but you don't have to.
Hang on, I'm going to mute for just a second, but I'll still be listening.
Michael Town says, can remember a lot of discourse in the chat. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
It's one of the most painful videos in the almost 1,000 videos that I have created simply because I didn't research more beforehand. And therefore, I had very little fuel on my end to fight back, resulting in what I would eventually discover is the most fabricated 2 hours and 43 minutes of my life. It's easy to forget that we as YouTubers unfortunately have an incredible amount of power in regards to influencing our most dedicated fans. It's why companies pay top dollar to use our platforms to sell their products. Now, of course, I was not paid to do these interviews or to do the unboxing, but instead it went the other way around. I didn't stop to think that I was the one that paid the price to him to still use me to promote his product. A product that I still admit intrigues the hell out of me, but a product with more red flags than a Ferrari festival. It's taken me a really long time to come to the realization of what I did wrong here because, honestly, I was being honest throughout this entire thing. However, it is onward and upward from here on out, and all I can say again is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think that the Slopes is legitimately sorry. I know some people are trying to say that it was disingenuous, that his apology wasn't real, didn't feel real. It felt real to me. And like I said, I've talked to him outside of the YouTube when working on this. He's never given me the indication that he's doing this in order to save face or backtrack or damage control his reputation. But take it for what you will, right? Slope says the live interviews are about 2 minutes longer due to me having to go and answer the door a couple of times, but they were both recorded in one sitting. All right. The apology didn't start with a sigh. That's like super genuine. Also, that he didn't have any tears and talked about how hard it's been on him. Says, cheers to you, Slopes, for leaving these up. Can't be easy to revisit. No. What I will say, though, what I will say is that because we know what we know now, I'd probably put maybe a pinned comment on the video, or maybe something in the description going, by the way, it turns out Tommy's full of shit. Right?
Yeah.
Just because there might be somebody that stumbles upon it without any knowledge and is like, oh, there's an interview with Tommy, and watch it and then be like, oh my God, I want to pre-order the Amico. Then
I want to go on record too, saying that I feel like his apology is genuine as well. I mean, I haven't gotten to talk to him as much as you have, but you know, he seems like a genuine person.
Yeah. No sad piano music. No, I've been listening and I know I have to be better. Exactly. This is a question about the Casanova thing. You contacted Cass and he couldn't remember much. Did you try to get Ian's side of the story? I think he said that Ian denies it. I do remember, and like I said, I did talk to Mikkel myself. Around that time, I was, having conversations with him about other things, not necessarily about, Ian or whatever, but just normal conversations. And I do remember that thing had happened. I watched the interview and I asked him about it, and he did say that that it had happened. Does that mean that it did happen? No, but I mean, it at least means that he told me that it happened, right? So take that for what you will.
All right, let's continue. We get to see our first pick of the brick-sized Amico wall plug. According to an interview with Hans, the system has 6,000 pre-orders, which of course makes no sense at all. Another hardcore Amico fan, the Atari Creep, who sadly suffers with severe depression, uploads a very heartfelt video talking about how when he was on the edge, it was Tommy and the Amico crew that gave him the positivity he needed to continue on. And therefore, because the Amico saved his life, he will continue to support it until its end of days.
And then he stopped supporting it in 2022. Because he really doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk about the Amico. He gets pissed off when you mention the Amico. These aren't Amico chats. These are live streams for me to play my guitar and do other stuff. So
that's another victim of Tommy's just manipulation. Like he's stuck. Like he doesn't want to deal with that crap anymore. But he was dragged into the shit show, and now he just wants to do his little streams and enjoy. But people are going to keep pestering him forever because of this. And Tommy doesn't give a shit. He's just disappeared. Shame on you, Tommy.
It's just ridiculous. All right.
No disrespect to the Atari Creep at all, he genuinely seems like one of the most humble people I've watched during my research, but this just shows how hardcore and infatuated people had become by this point. And then, oh boy, it's time for another deep dive video, this time for that tank game. So, it started by them uploading a video called Amico Deep Dive Intellivision R Battle Tanks Trademark Intellivision.
And we know that there is no TM. There's no register mark. It's just...
All of a sudden, that name got changed to Amico Trademark Deep Dive Intellivision R Battle Tanks final name TBA. Notice the removal of the Battle Tanks trademark? The reason for this is partly simple, as they didn't own the trademark, and partly not so simple, because another company called EvoPlay did. And just in case you are wondering, that game is more of a slot machine thing instead. However, this wasn't enough, as Battle Tanks became Tank Battle. Here's a load of screenshots for you. And according to user Paraclaw, who collected all of this segment, by the way, John Alvarado then dubbed over the lines where Tommy would talk about Battle Tank and say the same thing, but of course, this time he would say, you guessed it, Tank Battle. Keep it up.
Intellivision Tank Battle. I like Tank. They should just went with Tank.
Yeah, I like that too.
Oliver says, hold up. My dog just sneezed and it was really cute. Okay. Everybody. Here we go. Creep F you up. He's going. Meet him by the gazebo.
Well, it gets worse, as it was very quickly discovered that the artwork found in these sections was stolen. Stolen, plagiarized, placeholder artwork. Again, you be the judge. Eventually, the re-upload.
Oh, it was stolen from multiple sources, from the movie Fury, from World of Tanks, from actual military tanks, like real pictures that they took and just drew over, just traced them.
Loaded videos
Well,
wiped completely.
he's alluding to the fact that they were claiming that it was placeholder, that it wasn't going to be stolen. It was just temporary.
Yeah, I get that, but I think,
it was stolen.
What I was going to say was, I think knowing that it was multiple sources that they got the images from gives you a better understanding of what was going on and helps you form a better opinion, right? If you're just like, oh, there was some art that was may or not have been stolen, right? You're like, your mind doesn't go, well, it's just probably one picture, right? But you're like, oh shit, he took like this from this movie and he took that from that game. Then now you're like, wait a minute, that's not an accident anymore, right? Like accidentally. The Fury thing was a cross promo with the game. Yeah, that was from the World of Tanks.
Yeah.
It was a cross promo with Fury and the World of Tanks.
Mm-hmm.
They stole images from museums.
When all that was going down.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The fourth, for those that are keeping count, was uploaded on November 23rd, called Amico Trademark Deep Dive Intellivision R Tank Battle Final Name TBD. And you had a big old fat disclaimer in the description reminding people that placeholder art is being used on a game that should have been released about a year ago if the original release date was met. The end result was a whole 1 minute and 57 seconds being removed from that original upload. Mostly of the menus, which featured the most in-your-face artwork, and everything else that they couldn't easily remove was blurred out to the best of their ability. DJC shows us gameplay footage of Finnegan Fox, and you get a lot of hate due to not being able to play the game very well.
Yeah. That's where we were like, is DJC just terrible at video games, or is the controls that bad?
Oh, he's both.
Yeah, it was painful to watch.
DJC is just terrible, and the controller sucks.
Although, after speaking with others that have also played this version, they believe it's due to the bad controls because having to double tap a touchscreen ruins the experience in a platform game like this. And finally, a brand new Earthworm Jim show is teased without the involvement of its creator, Doug Tenable, or Intellivision. However, its presence does ripple down to the Amico, as you will soon see. It is discovered by the Amico Games Tumblr blog that Chuck Labella has removed all mentions of Intellivision Amico from his own LinkedIn. Tommy claims that the team have completed the pre-production run and has started the formal productions of the Amico console. We get yet another deep dive. This time it's for Astro Smash and the now super toxic Atari Age forums.
What was the Astro Smash? I thought Tank Battle was the last deep dive.
I'm trying to remember.
Because I could have swore after that happened, that was like the end of the deep dives. Wasn't it? Don't make those noises. That doesn't sound good.
I'm trying to think.
Really sus noises coming from you.
Hush.
No, actually, according to the,
it seems like they
channel,
did do one more.
Well, according to their channel and the way that it's ordered, it was Tank Battle was the first one, and then they went and did Astro Smash, Shark, and then Missile Command. But I don't remember it being that order. Like, it seems weird that they would do Tank Battle and then have all that controversy and then still upload 3 more, right?
I think they did, man. I think they did. I think they were just trying to play it off like it didn't matter.
That's weird.
I think they did. Yeah, I think it was.
In my head, I'm remembering it differently. That's fucked up. Because I could have, like I said, I could have swore
it was like the first deep dive, and they just fucked it up so royally. Like everything that people have been waiting for, and they just couldn't do it right.
And then it just stopped after Missile Command for no reason. That's why, because when they stopped, I was like, oh, they must have stopped because of the Tank Battle. But if they kept going,
it seems like they did a poll asking people which was the first deep dive they wanted to do, and everybody picked a game that they hadn't shown because they'd seen the other stuff. So I think everybody picked Tank Battle because they wanted to see a deep dive in a game that was unknown, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, sounds about right. Weird. It was just weird.
Finally, get locked down.
I have removed the Amico forum. A new Amico forum will return if and when the Amico is actually released and starts writing in customers' hands. I had already considered removing the forum for various reasons, but Tommy's 2 posts tonight just cemented the decision, not only because he made these posts to promote his Facebook group, but also stating no dinglings allowed. Dingling being a nicer way of saying it, while stating in one of the posts it's best to try and keep the drama out of Atari Age. And this, after he previously proclaimed, not publicly, he would no longer be posting on Atari Age, which I was perfectly fine with. Well, there won't be any more drama about the Amico on Atari Age for the time being. So he was right about that.
That I think was a huge mistake on Albert's part, removing the Amico stuff.
Yeah.
It just made it look like Albert was trying to hide something.
I think he just wanted to move on from it.
Yeah, but you just leave it. You can leave it read only. He didn't have to remove and hide all the stuff that happened on Atari Age. This is Michael Town's voice. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Pushing the strain accent to 11. Okay, I remember Pat and Ian talking about Future One saying they needed a check after the tank battle mess. All right, maybe I'm just remembering wrong. Maybe I wanted it to end after tank battle, and it just kept going.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Now the team behind the game, Human Nature.
And Human Nature, who contacted the Geek Getaway.
Responds.
No plans to release on the Amico for now. The contract was never finalised with them.
Even though Tommy did state over a year before that the team had been doing a lot of ToeJam and L updates and exclusives for Amico. And then the same day that we get our third deep dive video with Shark.
And when I did speak to Human Nature, they basically said that it never got past the idea phase. They never worked on anything. They had an idea for the game. They were excited because they're like, oh, the controller has a screen. We can do like where you open the presents on the screen and do different things, right? They were legitimately like, hey, we could do something with this unique hardware. And then it never went anywhere because they probably realized, because when they told Tommy and them what they wanted to do, Tommy and them were probably like, the controller can't do that. We can't let them we can't let them find out that this shit doesn't work. Like they're gonna try to actually do shit and it's not gonna
Yeah.
work.
That's probably true.
So
The Atari
Nice foot
VCS
bath.
is launched.
Is that really him?
But that's okay, because us Amico fans finally got to see a review of the system from people that have played it for 6 hours over in Germany in some German magazine. Here's what they had to say.
We still have doubts that the console can distinguish itself as the Wii successor, jerky performance of the games and the complex menu navigation, but above all, the slightly spongy control via the turntable causes problems again and again, and the movement control degenerated into wild waving. The touchscreen is suitable for simple inputs. In hectic titles, that seems anything but intuitive and takes a long time to get used to. We're still skeptical about the announced game replenishment.
And that was Justin Wang's voice.
Oh.
We got Yoke. Oh no. Is that another Dachin alt?
Then we get another deep dive video, this time for Missile Command, a video showcasing the confusing UI.
Yoko, no.
Yeah, this. Look, there's Backtalk Party.
Yeah.
The whole UI when they're like, hey, what if kids try to buy games? And Tommy's like, no. The kids aren't going to be able to buy games because it's different profiles. So you have a profile for the kid and you have it locked. You can't buy games. And profile for the adult who will be able to buy the games, right? And then they said, hey, Tommy, how hard is it to get into a profile? Oh, it's real easy to change profiles. You just click the button and you change. Give him a second. It's gonna register. Right? It's just.
Yet another sizzle reel shows up, which is strangely unlisted, probably because of the terribly low frame rate and the fact that it's again a take-for-take copy of the October 2020 sizzle reel. What? Why do they keep doing this? Bringing us into 2022, which is when we get yet another Ars Technica article bashing the system and giving people an update on how the system is still not ready. The next day, Mike Dietz puts up the Earthworm Jim run cycle as a purchasable NFT, and when Sam from Ars Technica questions if selling this NFT means it's the end for the game, the NFT is quickly deleted. And after yet another damning article by Ars Technica,
Micah was trying to do a little side business, and Sam busted him.
I didn't hear. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it happened. And it was over like that quick.
Television decide to take action by releasing a statement of facts on their own website. Like, for instance, Ars Technica claims that the combined costs are less than $100. However, Intellivision says no.
$100 is far below our cost of goods, which have never been that low, and which have only increased over the last 2 years, especially during the current global chip shortage.
They also claim that the information from the leak is outdated. They go on to promote the recently uploaded deep dive video as a way to show off the game a little more, and of course they talk about the release demo of both Breakout and Moon Patrol. They also confirm that both Shark and Missile Command are finished products, and finally they stand by the UI, which some have found a little confusing for a system that is aimed to be the most user-friendly system on the market.
Sincerely, Phil Adam and John Alvarado, Senior Management, Intellivision Entertainment.
Notice how this one wasn't signed off by Tommy? Well, the reason for this was because behind the scenes, Tommy had stepped down, leaving Phil Adam as the new guy in charge. The reason for this has never properly or officially been confirmed. Well, actually, that is a lie. We have had explanations, but it's been disputed and then some. It's a fact that Tommy was going through some personal stuff at the time with the death of his father and needed more time to deal with that. Fair play. But at the same time,
No, Tommy was pushed out. That was usually as the excuse.
Yeah, it was.
That was like, hey, your dad isn't feeling well, so why don't you take some time off and deal with that? We'll take care of the company. And Tommy was probably like, no, don't worry, I can handle both. They're like, Tommy, this is our way of getting rid of you. Yeah, you really need to go be with your dad right now. We're not asking you. We're telling you.
Has been informed by several unnamed sources that he was forced out of that position too. Of course, this must be taken again with a huge grain of salt. This isn't fact. However, it is incredibly likely, and as I'm sure you will all agree, it was the right thing to do. Right? Well, surprisingly, no. Because the 7th of February brought with it yet another round of crowdfunding. This time, it was on Start Engine, and this time, they didn't have the army of supporters behind them. Sure, they still existed, but they were definitely in the minority. People blasted them yet again for crowdfunding. Yes, crowdfunding.
Start Engine is one of the leading equity crowdfunding platforms in the US.
That's the official LinkedIn page for the company, by the way. They wanted another $5 million, and in less than a month, they raised a pitiful $58,000. Actually, it was slightly more than that, but people started taking money away after the haters warned them about everything leading up to this point.
And also Nick Richards going into comments, trying to get people to talk to him in emails, which is against the regulations. Tommy having people go in there and put false what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? False comments and saying how great the system is.
Right. Yeah.
There was a lot of fuckery going on.
Astroturfing it.
Yeah. So it wasn't just like, hey, no one wanted to donate and there was some haters. No, there was a whole shit ton of things going on. And we actually think,
yeah, exactly.
I think that some of the money that got taken out were actually people that Tommy and them were like, hey, put some money in. So, you know how you put a couple quarters in your cup when you're panhandling? Because no one wants to put money in an empty cup.
Yeah, it looks like, like you already have some. Yeah, they probably did.
So.
No matter what they do or say, the Amico was dead in the water, even more so considering the financial documents that could be found in this campaign. It goes on to say that the company has generated no revenue since its formation in 2018. I mean, that is kind of fair enough. It makes sense. They haven't actually released the thing yet. But regarding the debt specifically, the Ars Technica guy comes back and explains in detail for layman's like me.
The company's long-term debt is up to $7.2 million, and short-term debt has reached $1.2 million.
The craziest deal is an overly obscure loan arrangement with an angel investor after he drops a cool $810,000 into the company, as it shows that the arrangement made between them would grant him $100 for every single system sold until he gets his full $810,000 back.
$100.
Jesus.
And
this was so bad.
But it's actually not that bad if you really.
How?
Okay, so it is bad because they took the. It's bad because they took the money and didn't actually make the systems, right?
Yeah.
But he basically was like, "Here's money, make the systems, and then pay me back with the money you're making from the systems," right? He wasn't like, I'm going to charge you an insane amount of interest and you could just make payments like on a monthly schedule. It was like, when you start making them, then you could pay me back, right?
Yeah. The problem is though that how long would it take them to have paid that back? Like they would have had to if the system was selling like gangbusters, then they could have probably paid him back quickly, but it would have sold so slowly. They just kneecapped the amount of money that was coming in to keep the company running at that point. That's the only part that would have been bad. If it had been sold fast, yeah, I think it would have been fine, but it was just too slow.
Yeah, but like I said, I think they lied to him, and that's why he did that. I think he was under a belief that they were either going to make more money off of the consoles until the $100 wasn't going to adversely affect the business, or that they had more pre-orders and like, hey, this 800,000 is what we need. Like, this is going to take us, what do you say? This is the little bit of fuel we need because we're on the launch pad. You give it, you give us this, right? You give us this 800,000, and then we can make 1 million Amicos, and then boom, we sell 1 million Amicos. No worry about it, right? And we know that just wasn't the case. Like, they took the money, and this system's still not ready. So I think they played Sumit. Is the father Sumit?
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. They would lose money in each console sold. Yes, they would, but they have to pay back the damn loan, right? And what's better to pay back the loan? You're paying it back now. Like if I said, "Hey, in 3 months, start paying me back," or when you start selling Amigos, pay me back. What's a better loan?
I mean, selling the Amicos would be better loan, but it still is just.
I mean, you have to pay the money back anyway, right? So
at some point,
Sudesh, Sudesh is the dad.
Sudesh, yeah.
Yeah, big Sudesh.
I said Samir.
It would be better to pay it back later when they had money. Well, they weren't going to have money until they started selling Amicos.
He's saying though, like it's. I guess
interest.
Like after they started sold them, after they had made their initial to get to a point where they have the money, then they pay him back. But I don't know, dude. The whole thing is shit.
Yeah, but like I said, I believe it is my belief that they said, "Hey, this is what we need to make 1 million Amicos," right? So he was like, "Oh yeah, well you're gonna make a whole bunch and sell them. You have 100,000 pre-orders, right?"
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah. They definitely did con him. Well, of course, Tommy was involved. He was bullshitting him.
Yeah,
they were desperate for money, and they took what they could get.
He probably was like, "Look, here's our purchase orders. You give us the money. We sell these. We'll have a bunch of money to pay you. Plus, we'll have a bunch of money to make more Amicos, right?" That's probably how they sold it. Because again, Sudesh is Sumit's father, so I'm sure he was like, "Dad, my company needs some money."
Yeah.
And he's probably like, "Okay, well, this is the best I could do for you, right?"
Yeah, under those conditions, the loan would have been solid. Like to knowing that, hey, we're going to pay you back instantly. But under the conditions that they really were, it fucked it up because they obviously couldn't make that.
Did they fuck it up though? Again, I will challenge this on the fact that they haven't paid anything back and they don't have to.
Well, no, exactly. True. But if they had gone through and tried to do the business legit and it would have been slowly dwindling money in, it would have crushed them.
Yeah, but if they went and took a regular loan, them loans would have came due, right?
Eventually, yeah.
So, but by now they definitely would have came due.
Right.
They would have started having to pay back Sudesh money that they still haven't sold any Amico, so they're not making
So
any money.
yeah, all right.
And they
I
would
see
have
your
had to
point.
pay.
I see your point. Like if the thing was all along to never sell any Amicos and just steal the money and try to keep the show going, then they fucked Sudesh.
It would work. Here's the thing, right? We're assuming that the money that they got from Sudesh was the only money they had, and that was like they needed that to make Amicos to get money to make more Amicos, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% sure that Sudesh, being the businessman that he is, didn't go, "That's stupid. Why would I give you money to sell Amicos that there's no guarantee that you're going to sell," right?
Yeah, they lied to him for sure.
So that they had to have given him some false notion that, hey, these are pre-sold. We just need money to make them. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, and then we'll be able to make more, right?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
You
right.
keep saying that, Ninja Kitty, but they didn't make any Amicos. That's the thing. Even if they got a regular loan, they still wouldn't have made any Amicos, and then they would have had to pay the loan back, right?
Ultimately, by not selling any Amicos, they won.
Yeah.
But yes, if the plan was to do a legit business.
But even if it was let's say the plan, it was a legit business, right?
Right.
Okay. And they got a regular loan. And then all the other circumstances still happened the same way. They got the money, and the Amico wasn't ready to be manufactured. They couldn't manufacture it. They spent the money on whatever it is the hell that they spent the money on, and now they have to pay the loan back because
No,
it's
I'm
6 months
following
later.
you. Yes, but let's say though that they did actually start producing Amicos. It did work.
Well, if they did start
and they
producing,
started selling them.
well, then by the same token, if they got the loan as it is, and they started producing Amicos and selling them, and they produced enough of them that they could cover the loan and make money, then there'd be no issue, right? But obviously, they couldn't produce Amicos. Why they took this money from Sudesh to make Amicos that weren't even ready to be made is beyond.
I think he wanted to continue cosplaying as CEO. He was enjoying it. He wanted to keep the shit going because he was so worried that the haters would be right. I mean, they literally had fucking interns watching our videos. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is all
Like,
assuming the money was used properly, but it wasn't. It wasn't used properly because, again, we don't have any Amicos, right? They didn't produce Amicos, and the money's gone. And so we know that apparently Phil Adams claims that the licensing deals he did was used to pay the rest of the development for the Amico, right? So Sudesh's loan, whatever it was used for, didn't even get the Amico finished, right?
No, it kept paying for fucking.
You keep saying this. I understand that, but they didn't make Amicos. That's the point. The point is they didn't make Amicos. They never had the capacity to make Amicos. They never were going to make Amicos with that money. That money was never going to be used to make Amicos because the Amico was never ready to be made. So a regular loan would have come due already. This loan got them money that they only have to pay back when they start making Amicos. Do you understand now? Like right now, they would start paying Sudesh money with a regular loan. And they have no income and they have no Amicos to sell. Versus we don't have to pay Sudesh anything because we haven't made any Amicos.
Yeah, by being scummy, they won.
But not even being scummy, just being incompetent. Because again, the Amico wasn't
But
ready
if they
to
knew,
manufacture.
but if they knew that it wasn't going to be ready, and they went and got the money by knowing that it wasn't, that's still kind of scummy.
It is. I think, and this is like being the best, like giving Tommy the best benefit of the doubt. I think he thought he could get this money, finalize the Amico with it, and then have it start being produced. Right?
Oh, I'm sure he probably did.
That was probably like his plan. No, it's not even assuming the scam from the beginning. I'm assuming that he really needed that money for some reason for development purposes or whatever, and that he was going to use that to try to finish development and then sell Amicos or get another
Ninja Kitty. Why don't you tag in and let me tag out so I can go to sleep? Why don't you come in and have this argument?
No, we're going to go right now. I'm just saying, like, we know that Tommy is kept chasing money, so I think that he was going to take this money, use it to develop, and then try to get more money to manufacture. I don't think this money was ever intended to be like Sudesh thought it was a manufacturing loan, but I think Tommy and them were like, we just need money, and this is how we get money, right?
At all costs. I wonder if Sudesh could do anything then legally.
Keep hammering, man. I guess you would have to prove that was their intention or that they mishandled the funds.
Well, it depends, I guess, on if there was any proof that he told them, or if anything was in writing, like, "Hey, we've got 100,000 pre-orders ready to go."
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at 3:38. We're gonna stop it here. 42 people. Make sure you hit like on the way out.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.
No, they lost 1.3 million in parts because they couldn't manufacture because they weren't ready because it wasn't finalized. All right. Thank you for watching. Hit that like on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow, Hammock?
I should be able to tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think we have any plans.
All right, we have, what are we at? We're at 3:38. We have 20 minutes. We should be able
There
to
is
finish
no
this.
reason why we can't. It's part 6 will end it.
Yeah, part 6 should be the end of this analysis, reaction.
6-part series.
Holy shit, 3-hour stream. You only got 30 minutes. I'm
know.
loquacious to a fault. What can I say?
And it was on 1.5 speed, Noah. Come on. It wasn't double speed.
Yeah. And we slowed it down for the apology to normal speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.